Mic'd Up with Mikie Mahtook. Got the boys in. I got Lloyd. We got J Mitch. We got Jackie boys.
He tried to jump up and he might have knocked it in.
Good time. Let's go. What a start to the Monday. I mean, I'm from Lafayette. My boys would come in and say,
oh, God.
So me and Joe on the ground. I got Joe in a headlock. And he's sitting there.
Helmet.
He's punching me in the stomach, like steady punching me.
Here, and as everyone's sitting around, who here thinks Ovchinko can practice today after having 5 full beers? And he goes, Chad Jones, right? Chad's been with the team
6 minutes.
for 7 minutes, right? Chad's like, no, man, I don't think Ovchinko can practice today. And I was like, I look back, I'm like, Jesus Christ, I fucking saw you there. You were more fucked up than me.
Be on the spirit plane had some issues. I think she was sleep farting.
You heard her or you just thought it was her?
I sat right next to her. I smelled it.
Whoa. What was that?
Time to start the show.
I don't want to eat.
Why would I have that?
Oh, God, you had the circus or something.
6'3", I'm late. Like, I don't even know what I'd be doing.
Now, when you do go to spring training, are you going to bring your chinchilla and your turtle? My dad tell you about it?
The SEC is, God, they hate fat people. I mean, I get crushed for that. You know what I mean? And it's like, come on, man.
Hey, just the South, bro. You got a bunch of food down here. Like they're all fatter than
I am. Players, look at Lloyd.
You know what, Lloyd?
I mean, you're looking for a recruiting coordinator, coach. I'm here.
Yeah.
He was like, I'll piss my pants right now.
No way.
We're wearing gray pants, long gray pants. He goes, I'll piss my pants right now. Hello. Welcome back to Mic'd Up. Today is Wednesday, March 15th. I hope everybody had a great day. Good evening. We are excited for this show. We are elated. I did a crossword puzzle today. That was on the crossword puzzle. I can still hear you.
Oh, you what? Lost your condom.
Give me one of them soft joints.
Take mine.
Yeah. Okay, that didn't work. Good toss. Not the best. Well, we have a great show for you today.
We're ready.
Obviously, we're ready.
We've been here for 2 hours.
We have been here for
just
2 hours.
realized that.
And we just realized that was happening, but that's part of the show. That's what you get when you watch us every Monday, Wednesday.
We're prepared. This is what we do.
We are prepared. We actually are prepared. We've been talking about the show. LSU baseball continues their dominant. We talked about a lot. They continue their dominant stretch. They take care of UNO last night, 16-0 in 9 innings. Actually, they actually played a full 9 innings. Now they scored 7 or 6 in the 8th to make it to 13, and to 16.
Yeah.
And I guess they were playing no matter what because they already had 10 runs. Right?
Yeah, they were at 10 runs.
They already had 10 runs. So they're playing. They had agreed to play 9, which I think Jay wanted. He was like, I'm sick of playing 7. I need to get some guys in there to get some innings pitched. So they agreed to the 9. That was nice of Blake Dean to do that. Imagine.
Definitely took advantage of the scenario.
Yeah, I'd imagine that Blake
Jay
didn't have a lot of guys he wants to throw in a 16-0 game. But, needless to say, 16-0. Now they move on. I hate to say it like this, but now they move on to the real season. You had non-conference.
That's a fair assessment, though.
Right. I mean, that's it. Right.
Let's
This is
be
what
honest.
everybody looks for.
If they were 17-0 right now and went, I don't know, 10-20 in the SEC, they're not going to make a postseason.
You're not good.
So it really is.
This is the
real
season. The
Doesn't
season
matter.
starts now. We're going to get into that. They go on the road at A&M. A&M started the season as a top 5 team. They ended the season last year as a top 4 team. They are very talented. They're a very old veteran team. They have some injuries. We talked to our sources over there at A&M and got some information on their team so that we can better educate you as fans what to expect between LSU and the Aggies this weekend. Now, that full preview is probably not going to happen until Friday because there's no point in giving it to you today because we want something to talk about on Friday. We're going to talk a little bit about it, but we're going to have the full preview on Friday. Let's run through the Heineken headlines outside of the LSU baseball game last night. LSU women's basketball starts their preparation for their Final Four run. Right? They ended up with a 3 seeds. A lot of people feel like they were a little slighted in that ranking, in that seeding. Right? We talked about this a little bit on Monday. It is now put up or shut up time, and I think that's kind of how they would rather have it. Right? Like, hey, let us show you how good we are. Now there's no more, hey, we got to wait for rankings. What's going to happen? No, it is what it is. Let's go out there and win. They play at home in the PMAC, 4:30 this Friday. I will be there. I will be at the game. Right? Our friend Joe Schwartz, who loves to come on the show, he is the unofficial, official spokesperson, hype man of LSU women's basketball. He is part of the staff there, which makes sense for him to be the hype man. He is going to be in studio. It's supposed to be in 4 minutes. I think he may be here. I'm not sure if he's here. I've not gotten a text message from him. I think that he is coming in studio.
Ah.
We still haven't figured that out. I don't know.
If so, just need an email address.
Wait,
Send him a
I'm about to say we
link.
better because I'm pretty sure
Can
we
you
don't have
shoot
an
him a
email
text for me?
out.
I don't have his number.
Oh,
yeah, dude.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
you do. We'll find that out.
It
Joe
is.
Schwartz, one way or the other, he is going to be in studio or on the show. He's going to talk everything women's basketball. He's also said he wants to talk a little about men's basketball. We kind of have a bracket challenge going on through the course of our room here and our dedicated and very devout listeners of the show and watchers of our show. We're going to put together a bracket. Jack, you set that up, right? Mic'd up brackets on ESPN. It's very easy. You go in there and you click on it. And you just, if you don't know, just guess. It's okay. The winner is going to get signed merch from us. Our merch is going to be restocked here soon. You have something to say?
I thought we were doing signed poster.
Signed poster, merch, same
Signed
thing,
poster
right?
and free merch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because some people are going to wear the merch. It's
Yeah,
hard to
right.
wear
Signed
some-
posters, free merch.
You don't want to wear a
Sorry.
signature out.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. It's a good point. If you do, there should be 12
Right, or 80.
or 80.
Yeah.
Right. Like, there's no, like, hey, if you're, 12 is probably a little old. You're probably 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're walking out with a signed shirt and you're wearing that, or a signed hat and you're wearing that, like, what's the point of getting a sign? It's gonna get
I don't know.
dirty.
80 is a little too much too, though. Like when you 80, you're supposed to have like the the matching jersey that's like ball and chain. Like
Yeah, right.
your name
Yeah,
on it, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
no
Like,
doubt.
right.
But
No doubt.
when I think about 80, it's like a million signatures. They're like, this is my ball game.
Well, that's
hat.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
what I'm
what it is.
thinking of.
Yeah,
Not
okay.
just one. It's going to be like,
Okay.
Right.
I've
So,
got the
let me rephrase
1966
that.
team to sign this.
We'll have signed pictures that you can put at your office, in your house, in your room, wherever you want to put it.
It'll be
All
this
right.
picture.
It'll be that picture, and we haven't picked one for me yet. We need to pick a picture of
I think
mine.
it should be when you hit the ball over.
That one,
like that.
or the hair flying all over the place
Yeah,
on the
that's a
home
great-
run. Maybe I
that's
feel like
an
that's the one that
homage.
everything happens. We will have that. That's part of what you win. You know, as the tournament goes and we start doing something, maybe we can add some other. Maybe some sponsors will give us some things to add to it. But we're doing that. Go ahead and sign up. It's the Mic'd Up Bracket Challenge on ESPN. And Joe is going to come in here and give us his insight on the men's basketball side because let's not forget he played basketball at Texas. He understands it. He still has a lot of people in that industry. So looking forward to that. NFL season is never ending, right? The new year has started, I think, two days ago or maybe yesterday or today. I think it started today, actually. Aaron Rodgers comes on Pat McAfee's show today and announces that he had already probably made his decision in his head a couple weeks ago that he wanted to play for the Jets. Seems like that's where he's going to go. He kind of cleared up a lot of these rumors. Listen, a lot of people like to do what they want to do, and they kind of create their own narrative in social media and do all these types of things. And I feel like that happens a lot, especially to someone who thinks a little differently than a lot of people. And that seems the way it happened. He goes on Pat McAfee. He explains his side of it, what went into his thought process, what actually happened, kind of bodied or tried to body Adam Schefter, which I'm okay with because Shefty kind of bugs me a little bit. He bugs ever since the Tom Brady thing. I haven't been on Shefty.
Well, he's been on a cold streak ever since that happened, right?
Yeah, right.
It feels
Then,
like he's been stepping in shit.
Yeah, then he
every
comes
other
out
step.
and he screenshots a text that Aaron Rodgers sent to him, even though he's not supposed to have Aaron Rodgers' number. Aaron Rodgers tells him to lose my number. Good try, though, this whole deal. And all he does is screenshot that because he wants the clout on social media. And Aaron says, well, if he wants to go that route, I mean, I can screen text the entire conversation and show you how it went, right? But, people like to create narrative, especially the media, right? We are in the media world now. We like to consider ourselves more of a conversationalist as opposed to breaking news people. But needless to say, we're in the media. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets seems like a done deal. Breaking news right before the show, the New Orleans Saints signed Jamal Williams, running back from the Lions, who had, I think he scored almost 20 touchdowns this year, right? Like 15 or something.
I had a trade offer for him in fantasy, too, and I didn't take it.
Tough for you.
Okay.
Did you win the league? That may have been the league winner.
Yeah, that would have been it. That's okay.
Anyway, so Jamal, I almost called him Jamal Charles. That would have been great to have him too. But yeah, Jamal Williams comes to the Saints. They're looking for another running back. It looks like now they are not going to draft a running back high in the draft, if at all. I think Jamal Williams is a perfect complement to Alvin when Alvin is on the field. Even when he's not, they both can be on the field at the same time. And if you don't remember Hard Knocks, Jamal Williams really loves football, right? Like he's emotional, big culture guy, and I think that's huge. I think his personality is going to fit in perfectly in New Orleans. So that happened literally right before we came on the air. LSU USC football. Here's a little football news. Like I said, NFL never sleeps. College football kind of goes through a little lull. There's the Jamal Williams thing. Sorry, I know you have a lot of hats right now. So I'm running through the headlines. So that happened right before the show. So you didn't have time to prep. I get that. LSU USC football. They have announced that they are playing the primetime Sunday night game in the Sin City in 2024. I would love to be at that game.
Whole show?
I mean, listen, by 2024 and a whole nother year, like I would hope that our show's at the point where we could do that, right? That'd be great. That would be the one time in my life that I've ever been in Las Vegas past Sunday at 8 a.m. Usually my flight is that Sunday in the morning and I'm gone.
Red eye?
No, in the morning. Can't take a red eye if it's in the morning.
What? Oh.
He's wearing a lot of hats over there. Right?
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm thinking, when I think red eye, I just think like
No.
super late at night or early in the morning.
No. Red eye is flying through the night.
Yeah.
That's where the red eye comes from.
So 2 a.m. you don't get red eyes?
If your flight is late and you're flying from Las Vegas to the East Coast or Central Time, it's at the time in the fall, it's a 3-hour difference. Now with time change, it's a little different. You're flying. It is going to be the red eye because you are going to leave at midnight and you're going to get there at daylight. So you're flying through the night, red eye. The morning is just hungover eye.
Lloyd, he's just not gonna let this go. He's gonna keep going.
The morning is just being hungover.
I thought it just meant because you had red eyes. You're straining to get to the flight. It didn't matter if it was before.
I mean, look, that's a good thought. I mean, I get it, but like the red eye, the whole topic of red eye is because you fly through. Anyway, that's not the point. That would be very fun to be in Las Vegas for, right? But that's in 2024. That's not this year, but next year, and I think that's fun and exciting, especially the way USC is, on the up and up. And at this point, it's going to be, hey, SEC is going to be the big power because Oklahoma and Texas are already going to be in the SEC at that year, and it's going to be good. And it's in Las Vegas, and that's just where a lot of things happen.
Dreams go to die.
A lot of things happen.
Or come true. With it being Wednesday, it is Ask Eminem, Ask Mikey and Mitch. Please put your questions in the chat and ask them on the chat. And if you're not watching and you can't be on the chat, go ahead and type it on Twitter. If you're driving, pull over on the side. I don't want you tweeting and driving.
I do.
Yeah, rookies.
So go ahead and hashtag Ask Mikey and Mitch or Ask Eminem, and we will pick some questions and we will answer them throughout the course of the 7 o'clock hour of the show. All right.
Quick commercial.
Oh, look at that. Right on time. Right on time.
Dun,
Quick
dun,
commercial
dun.
break. Actually, do we need to take a commercial break?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
He's
Just
here.
jump
Let's
in.
roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jump in there.
He's
He's
here.
a vet. He's a vet. He's ready to go.
What's up, Jake? Yo, Jack, the GOAT.
I'm just going to interview you standing up a little bit. Is that cool?
Standing up.
Standing up.
Standing.
I'm saying. Yeah. You stand up. No, you have to stand up the whole interview.
No, yeah, then he'd block the camera.
No, I'm just joking. Yeah, then you block the camera. Okay, you can like rearrange that if you want since you're tall. Like, see the little knob? Yeah.
Twisted to.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's the one. Lefty.
Lucy.
There you
Righty.
go.
Tidy.
Goosey. What? Huh?
Oh.
Whoa.
Huh?
Righty rats.
And then push.
Wait, hold on.
Pull.
Slide. Drop. Hit them post on stop.
All
We good?
right.
Walk a man. What?
Are we done?
Yep.
Okay.
45 today. Sorry, it's in my
Yeah,
head.
that's good.
You work out?
That
Could you
could
tell?
be more
Can't
of
tell?
that was
I
such an
can tell.
insult. Oh, thank you.
I can
Okay.
tell.
There you go.
Yeah.
There
I
you
should
go.
know where you were going with this.
Oh, natural, baby.
All right, let's jump into this. The girls play at home Friday. They get a home playoff game. They get a home tournament game in the PMAC. They're a 3 seed. I would imagine that you guys probably feel a little slighted in the seeding. At this point, though, that's all water under the bridge. That's over with. At this point, it's put up or shut up. We got to go out there and we control our own destiny at this point, right?
100%.
Is that the message going into the Friday?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of, at the beginning of the year, broke our season down into 4 parts. You have your non-conference, you've got your conference, you've got your conference tournament, and then you've got the last one, which is the big dance. So everything we did in non-conference play could not have been better. We were undefeated, 12-0, took care of business. People can say what they want about our non-conference schedule. We didn't lose a game.
Do what you're supposed to
We did what we were supposed to do. Conference play did basically what we were supposed to do. Beat everyone except South Carolina. South Carolina was picked to win the league. Tennessee was picked to finish second. We finished second. Beat Tennessee in a pretty big-time game at home. So give yourself an A for non-conference, an A for conference, probably A-. We would have liked to beat South Carolina, but tough environment. They're hands down the best team in the country. We'll give them that this year. So A- probably for conference play. And then you get to the conference tournament. The goal was to win one more game than we won last year. And I think we all have a bad taste in our mouth after what happened in South Carolina a few weeks ago, giving up a 17-point lead to a team that we had already beat. And that's kind of been...
Yeah, how do you recover from that? Like, how do you? I say recover. Like, how do you? Like, when you look at that game, you're like, damn, all right, we were up 17 points. Like, we should have won this game. We should have won this. Mm-hmm. You don't win it. How do you get past that and move on? So, okay, now we got bigger and better things to worry about.
Well, there's the cliche that everyone hears in March is you want to be playing your best basketball in March. Like, that's the goal. You want to peak at the right time. And going into the Georgia game, there was some beef between us and Georgia just based off some stuff that had happened when we played them at home. And I think we took that out on Georgia, and that was probably one of the most dominant games we've had to date. And then the first half of that Tennessee game was the best basketball we've been playing. And you can call it what you want. They had a leak. We had about a 45-minute delay in the first half, but we come out of that delay. We were able to weather, no pun intended, weather that storm
Nice.
and take a lead into the half. And then we drew up a pretty solid play to start the second half. We got the ball first. And from that point on, you're like, all right, we're going to be rolling. We're playing South Carolina in the championship tomorrow. And then slowly but surely, Tennessee kind of chipped away and cut the lead from 16 to 14 to 12, got it back up, and then he gets to single digits. You're like, oh, we're fine. They make their big run, get it to within 1 or 2 possessions, extend it again, and then going into the fourth quarter, you're up 4 or 5 points. You're like, all right, we still got it. Let's regroup. And we had a couple empty possessions that were turnovers, led to easy baskets for them. And
you had a controversial call.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm not one to say, oh, that's the reason why. There's probably 1 or 2 incidents in my sporting viewership of my life that I can say, okay, the referees completely lost the game. One of them was the Saints, right?
Yeah.
I can't consider that, right? That happens.
Yeah.
I would imagine that you would say, oh, we can't put ourselves in that position to let that call determine one way or the other, right?
We wouldn't have been in that position had we had run the play that we drew up in the timeout. I'll
There
just
you go.
leave it at that. And that's the message that coach has kind of said is, guys, why did it even get to that? We drew up a play in a timeout. We ran the first half of it well, or the first part of it well, and had we have executed a little bit differently, we don't put ourselves in that position to get an offensive foul. That play is drawn up, one, to get the ball in the hands of the person we want to shoot, which at that time was Alexis. And second, you don't want to be put in a position where the ref has to decide the game. Yeah, it would have been nice to go to the free throw line and make 2, but we didn't get the call. We got the wrong call. They gave us offensive foul, and I think that's still eating at us right now. Have we recovered from it? Yes. Is it still on our mind? Yes, but
motivating probably.
But definitely motivating. I mean, Tennessee's a very good team. Clearly, the NCAA thought that was a big win for them because they jumped from a projected 5 seed to a 4 seed, which for people who don't really pay attention to women's basketball, the difference between a 4 and a 5 on the men's side is really nothing. I mean, that's just a seed.
Oh, you don't have to play the 12 seed.
Well, yeah. I mean, the 5-12 upsets, but
5-12 is tough.
I picked all of them in my bracket.
Really?
Yeah.
But
I think I picked 2 or 3 of them.
But on the women's side, the difference between a 4 and a 5, the 4s get to host, the 5s don't. So
that's huge.
Tennessee now gets to play their first, if they win their first game, their first 2 games at home in front of 17,000 people in Knoxville, which is one of the tougher arenas to play in women's basketball historically.
Right.
Versus had we had beat them, maybe the committee doesn't think that Tennessee deserved a 4 seed, and they.
Is there much of a difference between a 2 and a 3 seed? I mean,
that was my next point. So not really.
Yeah, right.
I mean, at the end of the day, if the 2s win their first 2 games and the 3s win their first 2 games, you still got to play them. It's not like a 1 and a 4 where you're playing that's your regional. But looking at our draw versus the 2 seeds draw, not that I am thrilled about who we're playing, just because they're 2 tough teams. I mean, UNLV in the second game is 31-2, and then you got Michigan, who any Big Ten team that really lights up on the screen when you look at that. But we got to take care of business against Hawaii. But I think Princeton and NC State is a 7-10 matchup. I wouldn't want to play either of those teams. But when you get to this point, there's 68 teams, I guess, and they're all in the tournament for a reason.
Right.
They're all there, and you've got to beat them regardless if you want to get to where you want to go. And so there's really not a big difference between a 2 and a 3. And I think what you do in the first part of your season, which was non-conference and then conference play and then your conference tournament,
it's 3 seasons.
It all prepares you for that 4th season. Yeah. And so that's where we are now. We're excited about it. I think the girls, we've got girls who have been to NCAA tournaments. We have girls who have gone on runs in NCAA tournaments. And then we've got some freshmen who've never been to the big dance. So it's going to be exciting on Friday.
So you say the cliche, this is the time of the year to be playing your best basketball where you want to be, which we all know. With the bad taste of, having a 17-point run kind of go against you at some point in that game, at this point of the year, how do you, or what is the coaching point of being the ones making the runs and or stopping the runs on the other end of it?
A lot of it is focus. Focus, leadership, execution are probably the 3 biggest things, because you go back and not that we've lost a lot of games, but in the 2 games that we've lost, you look at the start that South Carolina had. Yeah, they're talented, but that was just lack of focus on our part. Starting from the tip, the opening tip, South Carolina tips the ball forward and they go get a wide open layup. Had we have gotten the tip and then maybe get to settle into our offense, 18,000 fans aren't jumping around.
Right. They're still standing up.
Yeah, I mean they're all still standing up. And the music still sounds like it's still going, and they get a layup, and then it gets going, and then they get a steal and score again. 4-0, 6-0, 8-0.
It couldn't have started off anywhere.
Well, because that's what runs are at the end of the day. Like, you're not just going to go on runs off of great defense. There's easy baskets that happen.
Exactly.
And how do you stay away from giving up these?
Right, and so that's where it really comes down to, on the offensive end, us executing, and then on the defensive end, getting back to what has made us the team we are, which is holding teams to low field goal percentages, so forcing them to miss shots, whether that's good contest, whether that's forcing them into late shot clock situations and making them take bad shots, and then rebounding. We have not been the same rebounding team that we were in January and February, and early February. Middle to late February, and then into early March, we were not the rebounding team that we were early in the year, and that's one thing that we've really emphasized in practice. And then as far as extending leads, there's one thing that we chart and we're going to get back to for March Madness is kills. And that's 3 stops in a row, because if you can, I think I talked about it on the last podcast.
Yeah.
If you can get 3 stops in a row and go score on a few of those, that's how you extend leads and separate from the other team. And then on the flip side, there's certain things that us as a coaching staff, we have to look at ourselves in the mirror too and say, what could we have done better? And Maybe we could have gone to a zone against Tennessee. Maybe boxing 1, triangle and 2. But now it's like you don't have time to look at yourself in the mirror if you lose.
Right.
It's win or go home.
Yeah.
So
with the tournament, obviously, before I get into like who you're playing, the matchups and all that stuff, that what you just said, like that would probably that's the message, right? Like that's to make a deep run to get where you need to be. You gotta rebound better. You have to focus on the stops and I imagine make your free throws because you get to the line more than most teams do, right? It's like would those be the keys? Or, like, are there anything else that you are focused on? Hey, these are the 3 or 4 things that we need to focus on. If we do these things, we can go as long as we. I know you just said that or mentioned a little bit about it, but
I think early, at least in the first round, I'm just so thankful they didn't send Southeastern or Southern to us in the first round like last year. Last year they sent Jackson State to us. Crosstown, not really crosstown, but 2.5, 3 hour drive for Jackson State fans. They had a solid crowd. That was their national championship. Yeah. That doesn't go to say that Hawaii's not going to come ready to play in the first round, but it's a little bit tougher to get from Hawaii to Baton Rouge than it is from Jackson, Mississippi to Baton Rouge. So I think against Hawaii, they're the type of team that we can really focus on executing on the offensive end because you can't just roll out the ball and play in March. You've got to be able to execute. And you might be able to get away with it in the first round, but you sure as heck won't be able to in the second round. And then if you're fortunate enough to get to a Sweet 16 and Elite 8, it comes down to those quick hitters, inbounds plays, different types of situations. The other day before practice started, we probably spent 45 minutes solely on special situations, whether that's ball under the basket with 3 seconds on the shot clock, whether that's end of clock situations at the end of a quarter, we have the ball, no shot clock, end of game situations with no timeouts. Just little situations that you could potentially be in that you maybe don't work on during the year, but during the year, it's human nature to accept a loss here and there. In March, like I said, if you lose, you go home and your season's over. So I think it all starts with focus. That's been the biggest thing for everyone, starting in the film room, starting with scouting reports, starting on the floor. In practice is focus, and that's on every little detail, and that's why we've had some long practices this past 2 weeks. I mean, it's very important for us to get on the main floor and practice and shoot on the rims. That's your home court advantage. But the NCAA took over the gym today, so we were told that we had to be off the court by 9 a.m. So it's spring break. Coach said, y'all don't have anything going on. Let's get up, get our work in.
Is there a time where y'all had to get on the court? Is there like a allotted amount of time, or is it just by 9 a.m.?
This morning, by 9 a.m. was the last time we could be on. So we went from 7:15, 7:30 to 9 this morning. And then starting tomorrow, I think some teams got to practice today. Starting tomorrow, you'll get your hour time slot on the court, run by the NCAA. We'll have media run by the NCAA. So that home court advantage and feel is still there, but your people aren't really the ones running it. It's not like, oh, can we have 20 more minutes on the court? Right. It's like when your time's up, you're off the court.
Now, can y'all use the practice gyms, or that's off?
We can use the practice gyms, but that's just
men's been using them.
It's like.
I mean, why did they have to get astray, huh? You had to get astray over
just
there.
Just saying it's open.
Pew 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 pew.
Well,
they're enjoying their spring break.
Well, we've got our own practice gym,
there you go.
And Coach would be fine with it if we needed to, but she's not a huge fan of us getting shots up in that gym when we are playing at home.
Right.
So,
Lloyd, you got one for him?
Yeah, I do. You mentioned a little bit about like obviously going into this with like a different set of schedules. Obviously, Kim Mulkey's experience in this arena, not the arena of the PMAC or whatever, but in terms of being NCAA ready and tournament ready. You saw the comments about Jay Billis where he basically forced himself to pick LSU because he's scared of Kim Mulkey. How much is she a factor when it comes into getting ready for March Madness? Do you see a difference in her demeanor when it's March?
Oh my God. She has been laser focused, on edge about everything. And
good or bad?
It's great. And if you can take the coaching, if you can take the criticism, constructive criticism, and we like to call it feedback. I mean, criticism can be kind of viewed as negative, but if you take it as positive feedback and you're willing to listen to it, there's a reason she's won 3 national championships. And in the moment when she gets onto you and she's yelling or screaming or telling you, kicking a ball. Not that she has done that, but I've had coaches who have. When she's coaching you and she's in full-on coach mode, it just shows you why she's been so successful. And it really, the past 3 or 4 days, you've started to see, at least from the older kids, okay, now we get it. Now we know why Kim has been so successful in March. Now we understand what it takes. And when you can get your 3 or 4 seniors to pick a junior up, and then that junior can pick a sophomore up, and then that sophomore can look at a freshman and say, hey,
everybody falls in line.
We're all doing it, so get your butt in line. And we've got 2 freshmen that played a lot of minutes. And one thing that Kim has said is y'all got to find your next year. We need y'all in March.
Not a freshman anymore.
It's crazy when the trickle-down effect from the top just trickles down.
I would imagine, too, so this is a crazy dynamic. I would imagine that someone like you, who's been around Kim for a very long time, right? Someone like Alexis Morris, who's seen her in different uniforms, played for her in different places, being able to translate, hey, like, this is her, and she's not panicking. She just understands the urgency of what the situation is, and being able to translate that down throughout the entire roster means a lot at this point, right?
100%. It's, like I said, if you can take, she always says this, listen to my message, not my tone. And that she starts saying that in July and August.
God, that's great. I might bring that home.
Would we have
I love that. No doubt. Hey,
I might bring
listen
that
to
home.
my message, not my tone.
Yeah, I may not deliver it great, but you hear me.
Yes.
or you can deliver it really loud, and you may think you're mad, but at the end of the day,
comfortable.
And it goes back to like growing up. The day that I stopped yelling at you, the day that I stopped coaching you, is the day that I stopped loving you.
Yeah.
And so we love individual awards. Angel was named AP First Team All-American this year, I think in 2 different, AP and USA something or other today. Yeah. Individual awards are great. Flage and Angel were on Slam Magazine cover this week. That's all great. But like I was telling one of our players' parents today, they're coming in this weekend, I said, just wait until we win 2 games here this weekend. Y'all think our national publicity is big time right now? I mean, Samuel L. Jackson was the voiceover on our hype video that dropped at 4 o'clock today. Like, just wait till we get to the Sweet 16, see who's going to be on that one. So,
Django Sam or like which Sam? What Sam we got?
Like Snakes on a Plane, Samuel Jackson.
I like
Django Sam myself.
This Candyland.
So, I think right now we're all in a very good place as a program. I think everyone's really bought in. It's gotten to a point where we've watched a ton of film on who we play and who we could potentially play. But that doesn't go without saying. We all remember what happened with Jackson State last year. We were up double digits in the first half, and then we look up in the fourth quarter and we're down 10 with about 4 minutes to play. So it can flip on you just like that. Yeah. And it's the same situation, 3 versus a 14. They call it March Madness because it's madness. I mean, anything can happen on any given night. But I think we're going to be ready come Friday.
Well, and Jay Mitch mentioned something that I want to bring up. Obviously, LSU basketball, LSU women's basketball drops the Alexis Morris, like, basically her career story. Mm-hmm. And when you have people that have been coach hard, which it seems like obviously Kim kicked her off the team at Baylor, yep. She finds her way back to LSU. When you have people that are able to get that message, when you talk about don't listen to my tone, listen to the message. Mm-hmm. Like, I feels like that's the first person that comes to mind for me, because even in the video, she points exactly at Alexis Morris, and she's like, this is why you're here. Yeah. Like, I expect something from you. When you talk about juniors and seniors stepping up, that's the first person that comes to my mind of, I've been through March with her before. Like, she's going to be the one that gets the wheels going of, like, look, it's going to be a little different. Yeah. But everybody hop aboard because we're trying to do something special, especially after getting bounced last year.
Yeah, and I think one thing for Alexis, last year was kind of the first year. I mean, at Baylor, she played significant minutes, but she was a freshman. But she had a rough little patch at Rutgers and A&M where she wasn't playing as much. She was on an SEC championship team where she wasn't a big-time contributor. Last year, she was a big contributor for us. It was KP, Kayla Pointer, and Alexis Morris. Mm-hmm. And then after that, it was whoever was going to be the role player that night. This year, I think Alexis, you've seen that chip on her shoulder. And really going into Greenville last week or 2 weeks ago when we went to the SEC tournament, you could really see her game elevate. And I think a lot of that was because she was injured at this time last year. She didn't play in the SEC tournament last year. So what does she do? She goes and balls out 2 games in a row in the SEC tournament, gets named to the all-tournament team. And the level of focus that she's had the past few days, it kind of gives me chills thinking about what's going to happen Friday and Sunday this weekend.
She's one of the ones, I mean, there's a lot of talented girls on the team, but she's the one that every time she has the ball, she can score.
Yeah.
Right? Like, she's the one creator, like, doesn't matter what you do, I can score off the dribble, and I think that's important to have, especially around tournament time, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about these next 2 games. You have game on Friday, you win, you play on Sunday. Correct?
Yep.
So you're playing at home in the PMAC. You start off with Hawaii, 4:30 in the PMAC. What challenges does Hawaii bring to y'all, and what do you do to kind of combat that? And I know you can say, well, if we do what we need to do right, we're going to win, right? Well, that's fine. Yeah. You're the 3 seed. That's how it should be.
Right.
What do they do well that could pose some challenges for y'all?
On the offensive end, they're definitely going to try and slow it down. They don't want to get into a track meet. Typical kind of Pac-12 basketball. They're not in the Pac-12, but West Coast basketball. They want to slow the game down. They shoot a lot of threes. Volume 3-point shooting team.
Now, do they make a lot of threes?
So they don't make a ton, about 4.5, 5 a game. But the scary part is when a team shoots that many threes.
If they're hot.
If they get hot, that can be worrisome. The other thing is dribble penetration. They've got a good, quick little point guard. They're a younger team. They start 4 sophomores and a senior. A lot of these kids were on the team last year. They actually played Baylor in the first round of the tournament last year. In Waco. I think Baylor beat them 30 or 40. But this is a new year for them. They had to win, I think, 3 games in 3 days to win their conference tournament, or else they probably wouldn't have gotten an at-large bid. They were 18-14 this year. Their point guard dribbles the ball quite a bit. And it's the type of dribbling where it could be 20 to 30 dribbles a possession. Oof. Dribble all the way in, dribble back out, get a ball screen, keep dribbling, and then at the end of the clock, they're looking to kick out to shooters. They shoot the ball. Some of their shooters shoot at a pretty high percentage. But the interesting statistic, 90% of their made threes are assisted. So it's not like they're just dribbling up, pulling up into it.
It's a dribble
It's
drive,
dribble kick. So we've got to have good help side, but also be able to help them recover and close out on shooters.
Motion offense.
Exactly. So that does worry us a little bit. Is their 3-point shooting, and then obviously you don't want to get into foul trouble because we've got some size advantage over them, and the last thing you need is to get some stupid foul calls for swinging and trying to block a shot. Or reaching and trying to take chances.
I think that's the one, reaching, right? Because if they're a dribble kick-out team, the Angel and those girls down there, they're not going to have an opportunity to block a lot of shots, it's going to be the reaching end.
Exactly.
Right?
So you don't want to give them any life, so to speak, by not contesting threes, getting lulled to sleep on a dribble drive, and your man, you turn and completely face the ball, and then your man slides up and knocks down a 3. Like, you can't have my bads in the NCAA tournament. Right. My bad gets you beat.
Yeah. And now you get through this first game, right? You're the 3 seed, and madness happens a lot. Yeah. I get that. You're supposed to get through it. You get through it. Next game on Sunday is against probably who?
Michigan. Well, Michigan or UNLV.
Right, so probably it'll be a 3-6 matchup with probably Michigan.
Yeah.
Right? What do they? We're not going to talk to you before that game on Sunday. Yeah. So what do they bring? Now I don't want to get too far ahead. I get it. I understand. Coach,
but you got to be prepared.
And that's how we are.
In this situation, because you get such quick turnaround.
Exactly. And that's how we are as a staff.
Nice.
And
nice.
You've got to tell your girls that, because when you get to March, it takes a level of focus, like I've talked about, but also a level of maturity. You've got to understand, like you said, you're the 3. You're supposed to win this first game. It's not going to be easy. I mean, Hawaii's in the tournament. They won their conference tournament. They can win games on top of games on top of games. But let's be a mature group. Understand, hey, we're supposed to win on Friday. Sunday is going to be a lot more difficult. And the team we think we're going to play in Michigan, they're going to bring it. Just like Ohio State brought it last year. Ohio State was the 6th seed last year. The difference in Ohio State and Michigan, Ohio State won their regular season conference last year. Michigan has 9 losses on the year, 3 of them to Ohio State, I think 2 to Indiana, 1 to Iowa, and then 1 or 2 others mixed in there. Very, very physical team. Very physical. They love getting shots from 18 to 10 feet. That mid-range.
This is the foul trouble game, possibly.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Potentially, but...
No, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but like if there was someone to get in on you,
yeah,
that's their kind of game.
They're not the same. They used to have a girl, I think Hillman was her name, and she was on the team that played against Baylor. I think this was 2 or 3 years ago, and they went into overtime. It was either the round of 32 or it might have been the Sweet 16. It was one of those, and Baylor beat them in overtime in a tight game. And Michigan's well coached, and the thing that worries us is their experience. They've got girls on their team who have been to the big dance before, who have made some noise in the big dance. And you look at their conference this year, Iowa's good, Indiana's good, Ohio State's back really good and healthy. Illinois is good. I think Illinois is playing Mississippi State right now in the play-in game. But Illinois and Michigan, I believe, tied for the regular season. I think they tied for 5th maybe in the league, either 5th or 6th in the league. But regardless, Michigan's good. They're physical. They've got a guard named Brown who's about 6'1".
Leroy Brown?
I'm not sure.
Bad.
But she's good. Very, very, very physical. They're going to push you around when they're on defense. They're going to try and put their head down and drive. They don't shoot a ton of threes, but they're about 6 for 18 from 3. So capable shooters, but it's not their real game. That's not what they're looking. They're not going to go out there like an Arkansas or Florida Gulf Coast or one of those who's shooting 35, 40 threes a game. They take good threes, but if you contest, they're not going to just jack them up. They're going to look to get downhill, drive, all that type of stuff.
At this time of year, I think stuff like this needs to get back to the forefront because I think during the season, it's very easy for players to kind of glance over stuff like this. But composure. Mm-hmm. How huge is that to be able to get the girls to be able to stay in the moment and basically on task and worrying about the task at hand?
Well, the word I've kind of thrown around is focus. And we as a staff got together, and every year we have a theme. This year's theme was Piece It Together. Obviously, we brought in 9 new players, a couple new pieces on the coaching staff, and that was one big puzzle this year, and we've slowly started to put all those pieces together. But for March, Coach always likes to think of a theme. What's something that we could build on to piece it together or build on your yearly theme just for March Madness? It could be a puzzle. It could be anything. This year we decided focus for 4. So focus for 4 quarters. That's the main thing. You win 4 games, you get to a Final Four. And so that first focusing for 4 quarters, you're going to break it down quarter by quarter. We haven't decided what they're going to be quite yet. You're going to have tangible goals. What did we do this quarter? Did we out-rebound them? Did we get enough kills? Did we have enough assists? So little things like that whether we go on a 12-0 run or we go on the other team goes on a 12-0 run, we can look, be in the moment, and say, hey, we need to keep doing this or we need to do better these next 10 minutes. I think the other thing about staying poised is in March, you can't get too high when the going's going great. And you can't get too low on yourself if something goes bad. If they hit a couple threes, you can't drop your head and just kick it. Like, you got to respond. And I think having the ability to focus on the next most important thing is something that we've really tried to emphasize this week. Like, yeah, on offense, we got to execute. If we score, great. Check that box. But the next most important thing is getting back on defense in transition, which is another thing Michigan does well. They're going to push the ball, look to run. That's why they're so good in transition is they push it and they go send 5 up the court. They're going to go all crash the boards. But it's just do not let the game be bigger than the moment, if that makes sense. Don't let the atmosphere, don't let the score on the scoreboard dictate how you're acting in that moment or how you're playing in that moment. And that goes for a coaching staff too. I think last year we get up 14 or 15 against Jackson State and we're like, all right, let's kick it, cruise control. Let's focus on the next game. Well, Jackson State wasn't thinking that way. At the same time, while we're up, there's a team on the other end with girls who some's careers could be ending, coaches who may be looking for they're still playing to win. They want to extend their season. So you've got that balance. Like, while we need to focus on us, you also have to be mature enough to understand what's going through those kids' head. They're going to play till the final buzzer, whether it's a 30-point game or a 3-point game. So I think it's all about being in the moment and not getting too high on the highs and too low on the lows. Just kind of remain steady. You hit a 3, yeah, celebrate, but get back on defense. I think a lot of that starts with energy from the bench and from the other players on the court. Like, this isn't a time to pout. This isn't woe is me time. This is, if I'm not playing, there's a reason. And if coach subs me out, I'm probably going back in, but I might have done something that caused me to come out of the game. So it's about having a very short memory, whether it's good memories or bad memories, like on to the next play.
Move on. Right. Mm-hmm. So before we get into your men's bracket information, right, I want to ask a couple questions for the women's bracket. Right. If someone wants to create brackets, we already told you where it's at. Outside of LSU, because, you know, if you don't believe that you can go and win the whole thing, then you're probably not on the same page as everybody else on the team, right? So outside of LSU, outside of the 1 seeds, whatever, who's somebody or a couple teams that maybe bracket people who are filling out brackets to look out for in the women's side?
Obviously South Carolina.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of a given.
Yeah.
I think Stanford, they're an interesting team to look at. They've struggled recently, though. Offensively, teams have held them into the 40s and 50s. So, as good of a coach as she is, and as good of a job as they've done historically in the tournament, that could be one if they run into a high-power offense team that they could struggle to get to a Final Four. UConn, I mean, I hate to say it, but they've been to 14 straight. So, I mean, why not?
Hard to kind of,
it's. I mean, they could be a 1 seed or a 15, 16 seed. I mean, you still got to look at them. They've been hurt all year. They're slowly starting to get back healthy. They've got AZ Fudd back.
How good's Iowa with the
Caitlin Clark?
Caitlin Clark.
They're one of mine that I really think. And you look back at the Jimmer Fredette days. Some of those guys, when you've got such a powerful offensive threat like that, you're never counted out. And the fact that now they've gotten good enough where they're a 2 seed and they've arrived, it's scary to see them on the national stage like that. So then there's Maddie Siegrist at Villanova. Villanova really didn't impress me, but then again, you've got someone that can score 50 in a game. Like,
you can win everything. You can win any game.
Yeah, you can win any game. You look at our bracket or our quadrant of the bracket, you've got Utah. I haven't really looked much into them. I know they have some big time wins this year. They score the ball at will. But Indiana's another team that they've got a lot of experience. That's one team that you look at and people are like, oh, why are they a 1 seed? Well, they've got experience. They've got kids that have been there. And they've had a good year. Ohio State's kind of a sleeper. They've been hurt all year, and they've slowly started to get it. wrong side. I think Ohio State could make a little run. There's a lot more parity in women's basketball now.
Yeah.
It's not like
it used to be top 3 teams.
Yeah.
Just
it used to be UConn, Baylor.
Out the way.
Yeah, exactly. But then you look at some of these like middle tier teams. You look at like an Alabama as a 10 seed, and they're playing Baylor. Wouldn't surprise me if Bama sneaks one by Baylor.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look.
Hate to see it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, you know, I would like to see LSU make the run, but, you know, for other people who want to educate themselves on making the bracket, all right, we're gonna give you a little taste of the men's side.
The teaser.
Right? You have some friends and you have some connections, I'd imagine, on the men's side of college basketball.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, the men's bracket is out there, and I filled out my bracket. Admittedly, I haven't followed men's basketball as closely as I normally do, right? I love basketball. I usually watch it. I've watched a little bit. LSU being so bad at men's basketball has put a bad taste in my mouth, and I stopped. I watched more NBA than I had college, which is usually flipped. So
I hate the NBA.
Instead, I said, you know what? Since it's the 1 year that I'm not going to overthink this, I'm picking all 12s over 5s.
Supposed to be in the league?
No, I just hate how they play. They don't play hard.
No.
Well, not yet.
No.
They don't play hard in the playoffs.
And I don't like the rest days. I don't like all that. But I took all 12 over 5s and my final 4, and this is just based off of teams that I've seen. Really, no scientific facts.
No, there's
behind
no
any
way.
of this, right?
Higher seed.
I've watched Alabama play. Obviously, I know that they're good. But they scare me because what if they don't make anything? Teams that shoot a ton.
Yeah, they shoot a ton.
Right? Well, yeah. Yeah.
Loaded.
I don't know, right? Houston, I like the way they play. I like Houston. I've watched them play. Now, as far as the other ones, I have Arizona in the Final Four. And where's my other one? Where did I go? And no. Take that back. I have Alabama playing Marquette and Houston playing UCLA. Let me tell you this. Only reason I took Marquette and UCLA is I did not want to have all 4 1 seeds in the Final Four. That's the reason why I did it. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Who won it?
And I have Houston winning, beating Alabama in the finals.
Ooh, that's who I put in the finals.
Houston, Alabama?
Mm-hmm. And Houston win it.
There you go.
Bama, Duke, Texas, Kansas. Bama beating Kansas.
You also have no microphone.
Well,
What do you like?
Jackie's picks are. Oh God! Final 4: Alabama, Duke, Texas, Kansas, Alabama, Kansas. In the
Jackie, I got
championship game.
Duke losing in the first round.
Me too. I do too.
they're hot.
And I love Duke, and I've got Jay Lucas. He was one of my favorite assistants I ever played for.
Great player.
He was our ops guy at Texas my freshman year and assistant my next 3. But I don't know. I look at Oral Roberts, another one of my assistant coaches. He's the assistant coach there. Russell Springman. Oral Roberts made that little run last year, and Oral Roberts has size. So,
I thought about
Tell you what,
it.
I have A&M. I have A&M in the Elite 8.
that means you haven't beating Texas, so F off.
Yeah.
Hook 'em.
Sorry. I do have them beating Texas. I like the way. I think that they got seated too low, based off of what I've seen.
Well, their non-conference schedule was terrible.
Not good. I get that. I understand that. But I think they're playing good basketball right now. Anyway, that's I have them.
I'm
I'm sorry.
To the expert.
No expert. Not at all.
I do like Texas. I don't know why I took them over Texas. I do like
You can
Texas.
still change it.
You can change
I
it.
can go
You
back
got till
and change
tomorrow
it.
morning.
Yeah.
At what time? What time does it start? 11?
11.
I remember, my senior year of high school, because I barely went to school senior year of high school after basketball ended. That first Thursday of March Madness, we actually had a senior lounge at my high school, and we had 4 TVs in it. You got True TV, TBS, TNT.
That is fun.
You cater in lunch, and you just sit there and you watch basketball all day Thursday, all day Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and then you're just ready for that next week to start. But the games don't start till 4 o'clock for the Sweet 16.
Yeah. No, the first week of the tournament's the best.
It's probably the week where the least amount of work gets done across the
it's like
country.
basketball's watching you. You ain't
Yeah.
watching basketball.
It's the classic
first week,
vasectomy week.
All right, I don't want to cut you off. Now go. What do you got?
All right, so I've looked at it, and the thing is, you can look at it so many different times and think you're gonna have the perfect bracket. You're not going to.
Nobody's ever done it.
No one's ever done it.
$1 billion if you do.
Is it $1 billion now? It's always been $1 billion. It used to be $1 million.
I don't even
they
think
moved it up. The odds of this happening is not very high.
I've got one.
Jackie
one that we do. We do one with our family, and
Corn dogs,
there's
Jackie.
no prize. It's solely just bragging rights for the next year. I'm not even legally allowed to make one. You can't.
Right.
I can't make one to put money in anything. So I kind of. You can. So you can listen to my advice.
I have my notes out.
All right. Perfect. Let's see. Obviously, I've got Bama winning their first one. A lot of people like Virginia. I don't.
Let me guess. They play defense.
Yeah, but Furman. I think that could be a 13-4 upset. That was my first.
Wow.
That was my first kind of 13-4.
Do you like any of the 12-5s?
Let's see. Not Charleston.
No strange reason.
I didn't like Charleston for some reason. That was one that I didn't like. But I do like NC State over Creighton. I think Creighton's kind of just been. They're just a big name that has been in the NCAA tournament all these years.
Well, that's 11. NC State's an 11.
That's an 11-6. UCSB Santa Barbara over Baylor in the first round. I love me a good 14-3 upset.
Wow.
Baylor's known to lose a couple. They lost to Yale a few years ago. When that guy said a rebound, you got to go up, grab the ball, and bring it down, and that's a rebound. That was when they lost to Yale. So I like Missouri. I like the way Missouri played. A lot of people are talking about how little defense Utah State and Missouri both played, so that's going to be a crazy high-scoring game. Arizona, I love them. They're playing so well right now.
I got them in the Final Four.
And then, so let's, all right, so for that region, what region is that? That's the South region. I've got Alabama, San Diego State, NC State, and Arizona. Are those my 4 in the Sweet 16 there? And I've got Alabama and Arizona in the Elite 8 there. So,
right.
Chalk, 1 versus 2. But a few upsets mixed in there. Looking at the East, this is where it kind of got interesting for me. Purdue and Memphis in that second round. I like Memphis upsetting Purdue.
Wow.
What are your metrics that you look at? Or are you just going
Just go on
eyeballs?
Eyeballs
are the metrics.
When I'm not watching women's basketball, I watch so much men's basketball. I mean, just being a former player, just like y'all probably watch so much baseball and everything. That might be different. Y'all get a little bored with baseball. It's hard to sit and watch 9 innings of ball.
Nine's hard to lock in.
I watch college baseball, but
love these 7-inning games.
So I've got Duke over Oral Roberts over Duke.
Wow.
I love Ricky B at Tennessee. Excuse me. I don't know anything about ULL. I don't know how good of a team they have. Zakai Ziegler for Tennessee tore his ACL a few weeks ago. He was their defensive stopper guy. It's so hard to win in March when you don't have a point guard.
So you're taking UL over Tennessee?
I'm taking Tennessee in the first round, but I'm taking Oral Roberts over them in the second.
Okay, you know what?
And that may change. That may change because I do like him.
I don't think he's coming back.
I do.
That is the 1-5 I picked. Is Duke? He doesn't like him.
Nobody likes Duke.
That's the 1-5 I picked.
Everybody's getting sucked up by them winning the ACC tournament.
Well, they've won 9 straight too.
Yeah,
I understand
not just
what it
the
is,
ACC
but it's the
tournament.
name and the tournament win.
Yeah.
I've got Memphis.
Coach Kane walking through that door.
I've got Memphis and Tennessee right now playing there. Let's see. I got Kentucky beating Providence, Kansas beating Montana State.
I got Providence beating Kentucky.
But that could happen.
I know. I like Providence. I watched them play a couple times.
Michigan State.
What were they on?
It was just popped up on TV. ACC Network. I mean, Big East Network.
It was Thanksgiving.
Oh, you subscribed to that one?
It was on there.
So, Michigan State, I would never pick against Izzo, but USC, I think they're kind of still in the hangover.
I took that one too. Yeah.
I think USC, they've kind of just treaded lightly, but I don't know. And then Marquette, Shaka's got that team rolling right now. I mean, the way they finished the Big East and won the Big East tournament. So my Sweet 16 there, I've got Memphis versus Tennessee, because I just changed that Oral Roberts pick. And then Kansas State and Marquette. And I've got Memphis against Marquette.
Do we like Gonzaga? This is the one year I feel like Gonzaga is going to make that run because they're not highly touted. They're a 3 seed. They're not a 1 seed. And they're going to go and do this thing. I'm saying this because my best friend is a big Gonzaga fan.
Timmy.
Bo.
Well, that and Grand Canyon doesn't have their stuff.
What is
I got to get
both
to
say?
All right,
Grand Canyon doesn't have their stuff.
So one of my best friends is the director of basketball ops for Grand Canyon. Talk to him every day. And he sent me a snap this morning. Bagels for coaches, check. Coffee for coaches, check. Band and cheer, loaded on the bus, check. Gear, everything, loaded on the bus, check. And I'm just sitting, I'm like, hell yeah, great job. And then I see Jeff Goodman's tweet. I'm like, I literally texted Starkey before we got here. I said, tough day for Peyton and the managers at Grand Canyon.
Wow, that's tough. It is
but
tough.
they'll get their stuff.
Or they're going to look like Great Britain in the World Baseball Classic.
Or Great
what about this?
When we got the tee fell
can't
off.
Do it if you just have white tee, baby.
We played Montana State in the Maui Classic this year, and they show up to the gym wearing white when we were wearing white, and so we had to delay the game for them to go get their jerseys back at the hotel. Well, the bus got stuck in traffic, and so Kim was like, you know what, just start the game. And so we're wearing white, they're wearing white. It was a mess for like the first quarter of the game. It was nuts, and then like they just start taking the jerseys, get here, and they're just undressing on the side. I'm like, at least go to the locker room.
No,
like,
it's perfect.
I'm just like, oh god.
God.
Anyway,
if Red Panda's gonna drop the ball,
think that if they're gonna go and do that and get to the hotel, like let's get a police escort maybe.
Yeah.
Or y'all could have changed jerseys. Y'all would have the locker room.
But we were the higher seed or the higher rank, whatever. So anyway.
Or just make them go put the Euros jerseys on. The Euros practice jerseys.
Anyway, Midwest, Houston. So Northern Kentucky, another assistant coach, Darren Horn. He was an SEC Network guy. He's their head coach at Northern Kentucky. He took Western Kentucky to the Sweet 16 the last time he was in the NCAA tournament. Interesting fact there, if you see Northern Kentucky pop up whenever they play, keeping it close with Houston, remember the name, Darren Horn. He was at Western Kentucky.
If they beat them,
that's great.
It's going to ruin my entire bracket.
They're definitely not winning that game, let's be honest.
Let's be honest, they're not going to win.
There's only been one, right? Only been 116-1. That was Virginia lost.
That Houston team is.
And you know what? That what was it, Maryland, Baltimore count, whatever?
Yeah.
UMBC.
Another assistant coach of mine on Rick's staff was an assistant coach on that staff. So it could happen, but
Common denominator is you.
maybe so.
Yeah.
Iowa, Auburn.
6 degrees of
Kind
ratty.
of like Auburn, and I hate Auburn.
I went with Auburn on that one too.
I didn't.
So you picked Drake over Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, I like that. I like that.
I did not.
I like that 12 over 5.
I did.
I did not.
Screw it.
Indiana versus Kent State. I like Indiana.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying Iowa State, and I'm not high on them. I got Pitt over them. I like Jeff Capel. I think he's such a good coach.
So you know so much more than I know. I'm just this is a blind.
Throwing darts.
This is me. I didn't study for the test, and I am just picking up stuff, and I'm hoping that I
Hey,
can
but you know at LSU, and I'm pretty sure they teach us. You know, you can just do like one of those. All right, you can do that.
Yeah. That's why I've stole a couple of years.
All right.
Done that a couple times.
So I've got Pitt. So Jeff Capel, he used to work under Krzyzewski for the longest time. Thought he was going to get that job, but then Krzyzewski kept saying, "I'm not going to retire. I'm not going to retire." So
And
he
he
took
gave
the
it to
Pitt
us-
job,
and
and
he
then he
gave
gave
it
it
to
to the
us.
Shire. I got Penn State over A&M. I like the way Penn State played.
Well, you
last
changed
week.
my mind. I have Texas now over.
I got A&M getting out of the first round. It's
Yeah.
over there.
So that leaves us with a Sweet 16 of Houston, Indiana, Xavier, and Texas. You know what? F Xavier. I like.
I think. Look,
Pittsburgh.
so now that we can't give you a money value. Can't give you money. Let me just go that way. I'm not even gonna
Monetary gain.
Yes, that's what I was looking for. You should sign up for our bracket and the mic'd up bracket, and then if you win, I will give you a signed poster for me.
Yeah, you get Mikey and Jared Mitchell's autograph.
We're both going to assign the assured partners to me.
Yeah.
I don't even think I'm allowed
Or
to
take
get,
that. That might be
get
a
anything
gift.
of value.
Okay.
I don't know.
Value.
It's,
but we're friends, right? So can I treat you to dinner?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. I will treat you to dinner if you do better than the bracket tonight.
That's value. I don't know if you can't do
Actually,
that.
no. I'll just treat you to dinner anyway, just for participating in my
All
bracket.
right, and
I will give you a brand new car.
I just like to see where I'll end up. And then
Ratty,
we can
check
go to
under your
dinner.
seat right now. No,
We won't give you. We won't give you.
You
anything.
ever had a
Yeah,
Heineken
I
Silver?
I
I got
want
a
it-
couple of those for
I
you.
won't accept anything. All
There
right.
we go.
So last region, what? West.
Well, what's your final four? What's your final four?
You don't want to hear my other 5-12 upset? VCU.
I did like that.
See, you
I
got,
do
you got
like
a soft spot
VCU.
for Shaka.
No, my
Favorite
favorite
Shaka's not there anymore.
I know, but it used to be. I'm
favorite
saying it.
strength coach of all time,
See,
Daniel Roos, got me big when I was in college. He was
Trent?
He was with Shaka at Texas at VCU when they went to the Final Four. Came to Texas and then got the hell out of Austin and went back to VCU, and he's a strength coach there now. So I got VCU.
I took him too.
So I got Kansas, Arkansas, VCU, UConn, TCU, Gonzaga, Northwestern, UCLA. This is kind of my chalk bracket. The West region is the chalk region. Kansas, VCU, TCU, UCLA, which gets to the Elite Eight. Bama, Arizona, Memphis, Marquette, Houston, Texas, Kansas, UCLA. Now, what y'all have all been waiting for, the Final Four picks.
There we go.
Bama over Marquette.
Okay. Oh, I got two of those. That's two of mine. Love that.
I'm 1 for 2 there.
But that may change. I love
Okay.
Arizona.
you don't have much time.
I can pick my parents up from the airport at 8:30, and then my brother lands at 10:30, and my dad might. But you know what? My dad's in the family bracket, so I don't want to hear what they. You know what? Bama, Marquette, Texas, Kansas.
Whoa! Don't have the other side.
Yeah, I don't have that either.
Bama, Texas rematch of the national championship that Colton
We have to
McCoy should
throw.
have won.
We have to throw Texas out of this.
Boy,
Like, he's
Texas is gonna get to the
clearly-
finals
yeah.
with their head coach not there.
Yeah.
They just won the conference.
No, I know. And I'm not saying it's. I'm just saying that. What a look! What a move by them.
Ole Miss is in trouble.
They will cut down the nets.
Ole Miss is gonna be a good spot.
In Houston. They will cut down the nets in Houston, and that interim tag will be removed, and Rodney Terry will be the new head coach.
There you go. I love it. I love it.
And I may be completely wrong. Texas could get upset by Colgate in the first round. Colgate has the best 3-point shooter in the country on their team. Shoots 51% from 3.
Wow. How's that possible?
It's nuts.
That's crazy.
I heard that on Van Pelt this morning. Van Pelt was talking to Rodney Terry.
Wow.
It's crazy. Like I don't know how I remember all this
51% from.
I mean, listen.
That's special.
When the Final Four happens, we can watch together and drink a Heineken Silver together.
But what if I'm at the Final Four in Dallas?
Is it the same time?
To you.
So it's.
I'll leave it at your doorstep.
Via video call.
We'll just leave it at your door.
Heineken Silver,
We'll
right?
mail you two. You
That
have to
leads me
mail
into
one
my-
to somebody else.
That leads me. Have you ever heard of Heineken Silver? Have you ever had a Heineken Silver?
I have not.
Well, let me tell you about it. Because it's very good. We talk about it all the time. Lloyd has learned how to chug it through the.
I've
the
seen
funnel over
the
there, right?
video every time Cruz hits a home run. So it's like
Yeah,
every
so-
time
well,
LSU plays.
Every Friday and every time it's a booze cruise.
He should have hit one last night.
I was locked and loaded. I was.
That ball got knocked down by the wind.
Yeah. He was
I
ready to
still
go.
think he should do one.
Oh.
Oof. Should we?
A pre March Madness?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay. We do it. Well,
Absolutely.
before
Yeah.
you
I
do it,
mean,
Yeah, I want to hear your
Before you
sales
do
pitch.
it, before you do
Should
it,
we do it?
before you do it, yes, the guest pour.
I think Ratty
Because
should
they had
do
a
it. I
little,
think
they
he
had a
should
little
do
bit of a
Snafu.
dispute between the
Look at
pour.
Lloyd, he's scared of it. He doesn't
But-
want it again.
Can I finish my ad read? Jesus
I'm
Christ.
not talking. That's him.
Jesus.
You yell at me.
Heineken Silver. It's our partners and our teammates, right? I'm trying to tell him.
I'm listening.
I know.
Your Heineken Silver
Do
partners.
you like Michelob, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, Michelob, Heineken Silver is their Michelob, their version of Michelob. So basically, it's a light beer. It's 95 calories. It's actually really good. I'm not a huge I'm not a huge Heineken fan. But Heineken Silver actually is very
I get to pour
good.
it.
No, you get to drink it. Oh no.
No, you're the one doing it. And so yeah, I just want to give a pup. Go ahead. You're doing it? You're pouring it.
Yes. Crack it. Give me
He's a little younger, so maybe he's
Crack
better.
it. Give it to Lloyd.
It smells like a Michelob.
Yeah, take a little sip of that.
Delicious.
Taste test. I am 21, by the way. Not bad.
It's pretty good.
It's a little warm.
Well, it's room temp,
Gosh.
obviously.
All right, we don't want to be foam right.
No foam. Let it settle.
Let it rip. Let it rip.
Is that foamy?
It is.
That's a bad pour, huh?
Well, he's just going straight dripping drop. I mean, you said you're gonna let it settle, and you just didn't want to let it settle. Oh, now you're crossing your legs because you're bored with this. Let's go a little higher. Get a little gravity. Let gravity take control.
Come on, baby.
There we go.
Oh, you sucked that one down.
Yeah, that was good.
Impressive.
Wow.
Dude, a lot of people hated on me saying I'm a
Well,
spinner.
your last one was very bad.
Well, because I didn't let the foam settle. This one,
You didn't let the foam settle on this one either.
One
know,
of
but I
these, one
took
of
it-
these days off record, I will do one of those.
Perfect.
yeah. If you go to the Final Four, like I said, we're sending you a case.
Perfect.
Perfect.
It's no supper club.
That's a prequel to Friday too.
Yeah, prequel. That's only because our guest called him out
There
and
you
made
go.
him do it.
There you go. On the spot guy.
Yeah.
I mean, Tommy hit one last night. Gavin hit one last night.
Yeah, we had enough.
Oh, we've had people that have been.
I do it for every homer. Well, he'd be dead.
I've already
It's
gained
gonna
3
be a lot of homers this year.
He'd be
of
dead.
muscle.
He'd be dead.
The protein in Heineken Silver does not lie.
It's got whey protein.
Well, dude, I appreciate you coming on the show as always.
Great pour.
Great pour. I appreciate you giving us some insight in the men's and mostly the women's side because I don't think a lot. Like, go do the women's bracket.
Yeah, I'm gonna challenge the 5 of y'all in here to do a women's bracket.
I'll do it.
And I just want to see.
Okay,
I've been here a couple times, and I just want to see.
I'll do it. I asked you
Send me
these
the
questions
link.
for a reason.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
I can
I'll
LSU
do
win the whole thing. No pressure.
No pressure.
I
I do
appreciate
have a
you,
future.
dude,
2
as
futures on
always.
LSU women's basketball.
There you go. There you go.
So,
It's been a fun year.
All right, we're gonna take a minute break. We're gonna give our sponsors some ads, and so that we can keep retaining our sponsorships because they're good partners.
Let's just
We enjoy them.
partners.
let's just
Really
fingers
good
crossed.
partners.
Fingers crossed. Hope I get to be on one more show while we're still playing.
Ooh, fingers crossed. No doubt. That's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
Even if it's from a hotel room in Greenville next week.
It's gonna happen. And if you get to the finals,
Coach, how
We're
many
doing
fifths did you
something.
pick out?
We've got some special in the works.
nice.
Friday,
I saw you tweet your boy.
Uh-huh.
I saw you tweet your boy.
Friday's gonna be good. Sunday's gonna be really good.
I was just wondering how far you planned ahead.
Sunday's gonna be really good. We've got one.
What's the turnaround like on the suits?
Gotta get them on now.
They're gonna mail it to the hotel in Greenville if we make it.
I don't know how if I go tomorrow, say, hey, this is what I want to do. Pick it out, size me up, let's go. What's the turnaround of getting it done?
Unreal. I mean, probably
A month?
2 to 3 weeks.
Wow.
But they're doing like rush order.
Yeah.
8 days for me.
Oh,
Like, and this one's gonna be crazy.
can't wait to
great
see it.
call.
But Sunday is gonna be very, very like cotton candy crazy.
Oh, that's a little That's a little.
Did you just give us a color?
There's multiple colors.
Colors. Okay, I can't wait to see it.
It's gonna be real sweet. No pun intended for that.
There we
trip
go.
To the Sweet 16.
All right,
Early for Easter.
Take a 2-minute break. We'll get Joe out of here. You're watching Miked Up. Appreciate you, dude, as always. And we're gonna get you back on whenever you're on the Sweet 16, Lead 8, Final Four, Finals, whatever, all of them. All right, peace. Actually, you know what? Let's go. Ask Mikey and Mitch right now is brought to you by our friends at Evco Development.
Okay.
There we go. Let's give them a shout out, right? I didn't give the read to it. Evco Development's a civil construction. You go ahead and read it, Lloyd.
I'm putting together the Ask Mikey and Mitch.
Evco Development is a civil construction company that specializes in new multi-family construction. They specialize in site drainage, site utilities, earthworks, site clearing, house pads, ponds, demo work, hurricane cleanup. So basically anything that is moving dirt, getting a site ready to be built on vertically, has nothing to do with mathematics. Like Lloyd tried to say on Monday, he said he wasn't very sure. He didn't know what was happening with. He's not good at math, but
I'm not good at math.
Yeah, but math doesn't. You don't need math. I'm sure maybe there's some sort of thing, but
if Tyler works there,
you're not doing any equations or anything like that.
Quadratic formula.
Yeah, you're not doing the Pythagorean theorem or anything like that. And if you're interested, right, these guys are based out of Lafayette. They do a lot of work. They are very experienced in the industry. They've been doing it for their entire lives. And if you're interested and need any help or you want somebody to do a project for you, call Tyler Leday at 318-229-5585. Again, the number is 318-229-5585. They are based out of Lafayette, but they will travel. They will come to you, and they're very good people. They're upstanding people, and they do a very good job. So our friends at Evco Development, Ask Mikey and Mitch is brought to you by our friends at Evco Development. Well, you have the sticker on your head.
Well, that's because we're brought to you by Evco.
There you go. Who's Evco?
Evco
Development. There we go.
Evco Development.
Evco Development is a civil construction company based out of Lafayette, Louisiana. They specialize in
math. Went bye to me long ago, so I never had a chance to work there. Like math, engineering and all of that such. The smarter people.
Civil engineering. Let me explain to you how this works. The civil engineering is more about the earthwork and the ground, and you prep the land before you build vertically. And I don't know how much mathematics that they are actually doing.
Maybe Jay can tell us
in that spot. So I don't think the math excuse to you is a thing. But Evco Development, our friends. That's why you have the sticker on your forehead. I'm sure your friend Tyler Leday appreciates that. I have Tyler's number. I will announce that number later on whenever we give them another. But before we go into our maybe you're gonna have. Are you gonna have a Heineken Silver for the game? Maybe.
I kind of want one now.
You gonna shotgun another one?
You want another? I don't know if you should shotgun because we saw how that went last time. You
I don't know. I feel like you got to redeem yourself.
If you can have a drink, I don't think you should shotgun it.
The way it went,
I'll enjoy this one.
I think you should chug it, but maybe not shotgun it.
The way it went last time, it's
I can do. I can do anything. I know. All right, fuck it.
All right, go ahead. Go for it. There.
Oh, that's much better.
1, 2.
Open it up a little bit. You know what I mean?
5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
9.
Okay.
10,
now it's starting to drip.
11,
now you're struggling a little bit.
12.
It's pretty good.
13. It's not bad.
I'll give you a 12 and a half seconds there. How was it? Was it good?
Delicious. You can't do that
with a regular one.
With a regular one.
Right.
You can only do that with the silver.
With the silver. Why? Because the silver's lighter. It's got 95 calories. It's pretty crisp. That wasn't even cold. I know you don't necessarily need a cold beer. That was room temp.
That's
I respect how quickly you turned around and gave me a full sentence. That was quick.
Oh, yeah. Officer, I'm fine.
You've been around
straight
before.
line, kid.
Yeah. You've been around before, but
it's just breakfast.
It's a very good beer. It's a very light beer. It's something that you can...
Easy to drink.
Easy to drink.
Easy to pour.
Yeah. But it's something that, I think it should be in the rotation at tailgates, especially with LSU baseball coming up. We'll get into some of the LSU baseball conversation. Welcome back to Miked Up. We had an extended conversation with Joe Ratty, and he gave us a little insight on the women's basketball bracket and the men's conference. March Madness is the best time for college basketball. This first week is awesome. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. Go sign up for our bracket, Miked Up bracket on ESPN. Have we posted a link?
To what?
To the bracket? Mm-hmm. Yep. Post a link. Go find it. Go do it. Join us. Have some fun with us.
You can't post a link in YouTube now because so many people are posting porn that.
Oh, they've ruined for
I
everybody.
mean, you could copy and paste it, but also you could search in the name. The name's
Yeah,
in the
that's what I'm
chat.
saying. So go to the ESPN app, right?
ESPN Tournament Challenge app. Type in Mik'd up March Madness, so it should pop up.
There we go.
So
All right.
You used to be able to post links. And
Yeah,
then
but now they ruined it for everybody.
the prawn.
All the horny people.
All the horny people.
Yeah, and the bots.
OnlyFans.
And bots. Yeah.
Whatever you do. Whatever,
Sounds a whole lot like Lloyd.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, it being Wednesday, it's Ask Eminem Day, right? Do we have any questions?
we
Oh,
do.
there's a flood of them in the chat.
Yeah, we got a lot. Okay, so we want to save it for the last hour because this is the
Power hour. Here
it's
we
the
go.
power hour. I
Hey,
can't call it power.
yeah.
Can't we're not doing the same things. It's different. It's the
Ours is
last
better.
Eminem hour. All right. Who's the cat? We have a cat in here.
Carly Cat?
No, it's a raccoon. It's
Oh.
an anonymous raccoon. There's always a weird. Why do they do that weird animal stuff on our documents?
I don't know, but I thought you were talking about the kid that. Have you seen that video that they're obviously from the country. He brings in, it's like, Mom, I have a new pet. And it's a raccoon on his shoulder.
Oh, no.
And that's what I thought and she was like, we can't have that in the house. But it looked
That's
like
tough.
a raccoon could be a
At
pet.
that point, you probably looked in to say we probably should go where there's like city lights and things like.
Yeah. I mean,
of
he's
that
touched
nature.
too much grass.
Like paved roads, maybe.
Yeah, he needs a phone.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he needs some technology.
They
Can't
only
just be going-
have the one on the wall in the house. They don't have the cordless phone. Even that.
Just what the fuck are y'all talking about right now? What?
White
am I
people
listening
activity.
to right
He talks about somebody bringing a raccoon home thinking it's a cat.
I'm so lost.
Ask Eminem. Let's go. Let's start it.
Let's get it going. We are on. Hold on. Let me get to the social. Because we were trying to flash them on the screen here.
Until we got to talking about raccoons.
Yeah. Okay. First one up. Ask him, how fast do you think Milazzo Vanille would throw from the mound? Milazzo, apparently, this is coming from Hunter Fournette. He's got some. He has been very educated on the LSU baseball and LSU recruiting, football and baseball. Apparently, he got some tidbits that Milazzo can throw upper 90s from the mound or mid 90s from the mound. So his question is, how fast do you think Milazzo Vanille would throw from the mound? I'm going Milazzo 97, Neal 94, 95.
I mean, okay.
I'm not gonna go that.
I would agree.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll answer
Okay.
this. I would go Milazzo. If they're saying it, if it's that good, I'll go 3 to 5. Neal, I'll go 90 to 93.
Yeah. So here's my thing. All right.
Different.
It's
It's
different.
different when you can have a really good arm. It's different when it's on the mound, right? Throwing from a mound, an elevated surface, going down. Everything's got to be in sync. Just because you have a good arm doesn't mean it's going to translate to the mound.
Well,
If
you're
he-
also throwing from a position too that you're. That is the only position on the field that you throw from
Right.
that position.
Right.
Meaning where you're not always facing your target. Right.
Right. And so, if there's conversation, if he's been caught on the mound upper 90s, great. Just because we see a lot of people on the mound throwing upper 90s doesn't mean that it's extremely easy to throw upper 90s. These guys are they are training for this. They're working for this. That's just now. I think Milazzo's got a great arm, and I think Neal's great. But 97 is elite velocity, and 94, 95 is elite. That's hard.
And I'll put it to this too. Here's the caveat of that. If we're talking about them warming up and doing it for the first time, no chance.
Yeah.
If we're talking about them training for it for 3 months and then getting up there and doing it, that's possible if their arms are that good. Yeah.
Right.
I just don't think they do it on the first
I would say, I'm with you. Low 90s, and then I would go 92 to 94 for Milazzo. 93 to 94.
I said 3 to 5 and
Yeah, I'm with you.
90 to 93.
I'm with you. All right.
All right, next one up. From our boy Fonz Ferrelli, who's always active in the chat. He
Appreciate
said
you, Fonzie.
Fonzie gets after.
He
This
said
is
he had
his
to,
day. I love it.
He said he had to go cut up some meat, so I don't know what that means. I don't know what he does for a profession, but good luck to all the, all
Works
the
at a
youngins
quality
out
meat
there.
store, baby.
Yeah, or circumcised kids. Either way, ask
That's
Eminem.
way too
Well,
much.
you put two up there, did from him?
He's got a bunch in here.
I don't know, but okay, go ahead.
But the first one was from Hunter Fournette. This is from Fonz Ferrelli.
All right, go ahead.
Ask Eminem, do y'all know our batting average against lefties? Am I overthinking to not feel comfortable with how we struggle against breaking balls versus lefties?
No,
I love that.
You got it.
I don't know
Y'all must be good friends.
what our number. I don't know what the numbers are. Right. There's a reason why lefties are.
The numbers.
You have them?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
So of the starting lineup last night, these are their batting averages versus left-handed pitchers. Kling 273, Trey Morgan 389.
Wow.
Cruz
Trey flipped that thing all the way around from last year.
He did.
Cruz 412, Tommy 250, Dugas 412, Ethan Frey, who's only had 3 at bats, 0. Jones 214, Thompson 364, and Milazzo 333.
Okay, so what that tells me, just those numbers coming off of those numbers, right? The lowest batting average in that, like Tommy, I think that's going to change throughout the course of the year.
I think he also doesn't have that many at bats against lefties.
But you go to Jared Jones, right? He's hitting the lowest out of the starters. What that tells me is these guys are throwing him soft in the zone, and they falls out of the zone. He's getting a little antsy, and he's kind of like getting outside, getting ahead of the ball, and he's swinging, and he's chasing some stuff out of the zone, right? Because you have to remember, a lot of these lefties that LSU has faced up to this point have not been power lefties. They have been thumbing lefties. They are not throwing very hard. They're trying to mix and match. They're trying to get you to chase out of the zone. And so I think that will eventually change. But that's just an adjustment that a younger hitter is going to have to make, right? One of the best things that I was told as a hitter facing lefties is like, hey, what's your approach? And I told him, well, I'm looking to go right center, and I'm looking for pitches middle to away. He's like, well, why? It's exactly what he wants you to look for, because he's trying to throw you pitch away and then go away from the zone, and now you're getting soft contact. Why not look for that pitch middle in and try to drive that ball up the middle? It's going to keep you back on balls. It's going to keep you timed better. And once he did that, it flipped the switch, and it made a big difference. And I think that just comes with time. Sorry, that's not. Go ahead. So, to your answer, I am comfortable with the way they are facing lefties. I think that the numbers are going to level out throughout the course of the year.
I'm comfortable with it, but my reasoning is you got to remember there's the 2 biggest jumps you make as a baseball player, right? It's from high school to college ball, from college ball to professional ball, right?
And I'll argue high school to college probably harder than
high school to college is definitely, especially in this league, is harder, right? I think a lot of it has to do with the amount of young guys that they have playing a significant role this early in the year, and them making that jump to this level. And on the other side of it, them not seeing as many lefties as they've seen righties. Right. So those numbers are a very small sample size, if you will. I think, once again, like you said, I think as the season goes and everything kind of like levels out a little bit more, but I think that's the biggest reason, right? Like even some of these guys that you don't think are great college lefties, they're better than the guys that were the left-handed pitchers that were on the high school teams. And it's a significant jump.
Right.
So, in my eyes, that's probably what you're seeing.
Okay, next one up. James Bond. Shaken not stirred. Ask Eminem, who gets left off of the travel squad, which is a feeling that I feel like nobody's really asking this question, which is why I put it up. It feels... How many can you travel, first of all?
They've changed that rule. So I don't know now.
Yeah.
COVID confuses me now. It used to be, once they had 35, it used to be you can only travel 27.
Right.
On the travel roster. And, this hits home for me because my freshman year, before I started playing a lot, I was nervous that I wasn't going to make the travel squad because I wasn't playing. I wasn't getting in the game, but luckily I was a good defender so that I could run. So they put me in there just in case. And it worked itself out, but... Huh?
4-4.
4-4? I don't think you believe that I said that. Oh.
No, I believe you.
Okay. You gave me a little cheating grin like, oh my God.
Yeah, because so many other people try to claim it.
Yeah.
And you got a verified Spark 4-4.
No, not Spark. But I got verified. Anyway. I don't know how many people travel, but if I had to pick somebody not to travel as far as a position player goes,
there's just no way you don't fall on a name that I'm thinking.
Probably.
Go ahead, Sam.
And I don't know. Does Stevenson make the roster? Travel roster?
I was gonna say it's either him or Mick Paul. Is probably what I was
Paul
thinking.
So
probably
I'm gonna say this one, which
Mick Paul probably doesn't make
I'm gonna say this one because I'm not sure that he has much experience playing another position, and strictly off of a depth chart overflow at this spot, I'm not sure that Hayden Travinski travels.
I thought about him too. I did.
I understand his ability, and that may have a lot to do with why he had the 2 at-bats last night. Because I think he had 2 at-bats last night.
Yeah. I thought about him too, but maybe he's a veteran. That's why.
I agree. But if we're sitting there and we're going to take Brady, obviously, they're going to take Jared Jones, obviously. They're going to take Ethan Fry, obviously. Milazzo's another one.
Cade's going to go.
Well, but those are just
catchers.
Yeah.
I'm literally just thinking off of guys who could get behind the plate.
So you're going to take every 5 of those guys?
Like, if I'm looking at it, like, right now, Fry has how many at-bats? He's got 12 at-bats. Travinski's got 6 at-bats. So that's the only reason why I'm putting Fry over. I get it, he's younger and everything, but like if I'm thinking off of that, the first Jones is going to go as an emergency backup, even though he's obviously going to hit because he's going to DH a good portion of it, right? Neal's going to go. Milazzo's going to go. That would be my only guess. It's hard to say we got 5 guys that are going to play catcher that's going to travel too. So I think that's my literally that is the basis of my guess when it comes to that position, which sucks because I think he does offer something, and they're so deep.
Yeah,
they're just so
pitching
deep.
staff's tough. There's so
the
many
pitching
guys.
staff's tough. I think the pitching staff may be a roaming type of situation.
I agree.
Because you don't have to bring some. Well, the weekend is what it is, but it may have to go off of who didn't get used in the week before, right? Like some of that kind of goes that way. So pitching staff's tough.
Is that the easiest way to do it? Is to leave somebody off that, like, look, you already pitched. I understand you want to.
Well, no, not already pitched. More so off of how much did you pitch? Are you going to be available, or how available?
Yeah, and the problem with it is if you play on a Wednesday, usually you are going to be available if you're a bullpen guy
Sunday or
in the
Saturday,
back end.
yeah.
But I mean, they're so deep on that. It's tough. That's a tough situation. I don't know. I don't. I wish I was more educated on how many guys can travel now because
the pitching side of it's
they've
really
changed
tough to figure out who that guy would be.
Yeah.
But if I had to go one position player, that's where I would be going, unfortunately.
Next
one up, Fonz Ferrelli again. He's sending a couple of questions. So, here he comes up. Fonz, thank you, sir. Ask him them. LSU, are they going to actually... I'm trying to decipher what he sent here because...
Are they going to have an actual setup pitcher and an actual closer, or is it going to be any and every one?
Oh, this is better
pitch?
for you to read it.
Yeah, so basically he's asking, are they going to have an 8th inning guy and a 9th inning guy? I don't think so. I think that the 9th inning guy has kind of made himself into, I think Christian Little has been that guy. But I think that if he needs to use Little earlier in the game, he's going to use him. And if he had to use him on a Friday to throw 3 innings or a Saturday to throw 3 innings, he's not going to come back the next day. That's the embarrassment of riches that LSU has. You have Chase Shores, who throws 100 now, coming out the bullpen. You have the 2 lefties who have been nails out the bullpen. And you have Money, who has some experience, a lot of experience starting, right?
Garrett Edwards is trending.
You have Garrett Edwards who's been dealing. So I think that Jay has proven that he's going to match up with what he thinks is the best. If Little is the first guy, if he's not available, then you move on from that. But I don't think you're going to see someone have an actual role like in the big leagues. Hey, you're the 8th inning guy, and you're the 9th inning guy. I think it's going to be Little unless he's used, and then mix and match that from there.
So I would go the opposite. I do think that when it comes down to, I don't know exactly when in the season you get to this, but I would think if it came down to it, I'm going to flip it. I think it's going to end up being Shores at the back end of it. And I do think in college there is a lot to – see, like college baseball is a little bit different, right? I think there is a lot to kind of that guy out the pen that could give you 3 to 4 or be literally the back end guy, to me is like NFL / college football star role in the bullpen. I think that position holds a lot of weight in college baseball, way more weight than it's even existent in professional baseball.
Yeah.
Right? So I do think, and I'm going to base this off of this, like you had a weekend where Shores didn't throw at all, right? And then on a Wednesday night game, I would imagine because they probably want him somewhat fresh for the weekend, but on a Wednesday, and probably, if I had to guess,
2 1/3 last night?
2 1/3, he faced 10 batters. I would imagine you see him there. I think Christian is the more experienced guy, the guy that can bounce around and do either and kind of give you a range of whatever you want. And so I see him being the guy that, him along with Riley Cooper, i.e. lefty and righty, being the guys that are versatile out of the pen.
Yeah.
And I think you see 100 with some sink coming out the back end.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
Towards the back end of the
before the season started, that's what I thought was going to be the closer.
Right. I just see for me, I don't like what else. Like Christian didn't throw last night, so he's obviously ready for the weekend. Riley didn't throw last night, so he's ready for the weekend. Why else would Chase Shores only see 10 hitters?
Because he's not. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So
hey, we need to get to work in. Glorified bullpen. Okay, now you're ready.
There you go. So I think they're kind of, I won't say pushing him to it, more like grooming him. Like, hey, this is what we got, and this is where you are going to star for us this weekend. I think you end up seeing him migrate to the back end of the bullpen. The back end of the bullpen.
Speaking of pitching, from Timothy Smith, when do you think we can see Colvin return? I know it's a tough question because we're not abreast of the situation.
A good timetable for a pitcher.
Can you set the scene? What's the injury?
Tommy John. He had his ligament in his elbow burst. He had to have surgery. Usually the length of a Tommy John recovery for a pitcher is 18 months. As far as being back to you and 100%. And I think that they're going to give Coleman that. I'm not saying a full 18 months because he did it beginning of last year. Mm-hmm. So he's probably he's probably at the 13th month, maybe 14th month mark. So I would imagine if you're going to see him in the game, it would probably be mid-April before he gets a postseason. I would imagine, unless something crazy is happening. He's a bullpen guy, so maybe he's gonna get back a little earlier. But the beauty of it is they don't need him right now. I'm not saying that he's not good because he is, but they're so successful right now and they're so deep in the bullpen that they can give him the time that he needs without rushing him back.
So I would imagine it's probably a little twofold in this conversation, which I say going into the year or going into the start, opening day, Jay probably saw it wow, all right, we're very, very deep. So there's two ways they can play this. Pitching him in the middle of April or back end of April will essentially, for him, in a sense, burn a season, especially if he's not a year of eligibility, especially if he is not 100, right? So because of their depth, even though they lost Grant Taylor, because of the depth, I think they kind of give this guy a chance to say, hey, look, either you're not going to throw basically until we almost make it to postseason, which I think they maybe let his work be, I don't know, live ABs multiple times in practice over and over and over again until he really feels comfortable, and then let him go. If at that point they can say, hey, let him go and he can pitch and he can help us right now, obviously. Or you may not see him at all. And I think the depth of this bullpen is the reason why.
Yep.
Next one up, Fonzie again. I mean, man is working today. But I think it's a good question because it's something we've talked about previously. Tommy takes back in the lineup and playing third base. How do you orchestrate the rest of the fielding dynamic in DH?
So I think with Tommy back in, he's playing third base. I think Trey goes back to first. I think that opens that outfield spot up. And that allows Jones to go back to DH. Now, if Jay feels like Beloso and those guys are starting to get hot and they want some more at-bats, Trey goes back to left. Beloso gets to start at first or DH or whatever, right? And so options are a beautiful thing. I think that's if it's up to Jay and it's the actual hey, how do I want to draw this up? Trey being at first base would be the thing.
So I think you saw the opening day roster, what it was, because he definitely thought that was very, very close to his best team, right? So with that being said, I think it's Trey goes back to first. Tommy goes back to third. Whoever's going to be playing in left, and Jones goes back to DH because that is the best roster they have as hitters. Now, I think that roster was the best roster because he felt like the guy we have as short is very, very good with the glove, just like I thought he was, even though it didn't show that in the numbers at all last year.
Right.
And Tommy can more than hold his own weight at third. If it were to a point to where the defense became a problem again, I do think the possibility of Napote being back in at third is way stronger than what it was before. But you see what they can be and what it allows them to be at the plate as a team too, with having that lineup filled out that way.
Okay, and Oh, wait. We got one from Twitter. Jack just sent it to me. Thank you, sir. I'll pull it back up. Pop. From Rodney or TJ, which I respect the anonymity. What would be your thoughts on putting in Nate in the Saturday between Skeens and Hurd?
Ackenhausen.
Nate Ackenhausen to break up the right pitching for the whole weekend. I feel like they got there.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I don't think you need to break it up. Simply because, it'd be a little different if you didn't have 3 of those guys out of the pen, especially with a guy like Coop and or maybe Nate who can go multiple innings, right? So I would understand it, but because you're so deep with guys that can go multiple innings out of the pen, I mean, I don't see a reason to do it.
I mean, I understand the concept.
I get what you're. I get the thought process. But you have legit
3.
You
have 3 first rounders in your rotation.
But yeah, like exactly. You have 3 dominant arms throwing on the weekend. Not like 3 serviceable or 1 dominant and 2 guys that could get you. No, like 3 dominant arms.
You have 3 Friday night guys.
There you go.
I mean, between
and if they're on, so if they're on, it doesn't matter if it's a righty or a lefty.
Yeah, right.
And if one of them's off, well, we also have 3 lefties out of the pen.
No doubt.
Give you multiple innings. So I don't think there's a reason to push them to that when you have what you already have on Saturday.
And here's the thing, right? What's the hardest pitch to hit as an opposite hand, right? Like, hey, if you're a lefty and this righty's got a nasty changeup, or if I'm a righty and you're a lefty and you've got a nasty changeup, something to get me off of something, that is what kind of combats the lefty-righty thing, right? So Ty Floyd throws 97 with rocket balls that do this, airplane balls, and he's also got a nasty changeup, right? So I don't know what his numbers are, but I don't think that he's not a guy that's like, oh, these lefties are hammering. Like, he's not a cutter guy who's going to try to get in on lefties, and lefties are able to get the head out, and he has a high average against them. So I don't think that you mess with that because, I mean, they have 6 shutouts already this year. Like, these guys aren't giving up any runs.
Yeah.
And I think Nate has
been broke,
don't fix it. And Nate's been really good out the bullpen, and so I think you just keep him in that role.
Last one up just came into the chat. Chase Bermudez. Why not move you guys back to left field? And I guess I would imagine he's talking about Ben DePault to second.
I mean, that's a possibility too.
It's possible,
but I think that they like Dugas being comfortable there at second. I think he's played good enough defense to where they don't need to move him out. And I think that since his defense isn't an issue, why put in another bat that isn't going? It's not going to be I think that there's more opportunity to put guys in left field that have a bigger bat in the lineup than DePault.
I didn't really clarify it earlier, but that's what I meant to. So I didn't necessarily mean that, like, if Tommy would struggle at third, then DePault comes back in. DePault can play multiple positions. I'm pretty sure he can probably even play short if that were to be a thing.
Right.
So with that being said, I think if the defensive side of the ball became a real problem for him, insert Ben DePault. And that's not to say he can't hit, but he is a little bit behind these other guys offensively right now, right? I think as long as yeah, of course. I think he's not here for no reason. Let's be honest.
Right. I mean,
I think as long as these guys hold their weight and do what they're supposed to do defensively, this is the lineup you'll see.
Yeah, agreed. And that's Ask Mikey and Mitch.
That's Ask Mikey and Mitch. We appreciate everybody for participating.
Absolutely.
Good job, Lloyd. You did good.
I feel like I finally figured out this whole social
I
VMix
think you have.
thing.
I appreciate that.
Felt
You're working hard. You're working
hard.
hard.
Hey, you know what's so funny? Like, you go, like, we talked about, like, their offensive numbers as a team right now, but, like, the reason why I gave, like, that little chuckle is because every year I feel like you look at a team somewhere in the country and you're like, bro, they got video game numbers. Like, what is that? Who are these guys? I'm looking at this thing right now and they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that they would run out there right now who's got under a 1 ERA. 6. What?
And look, I don't care what the competition is. Like,
no.
It's hard.
One is not even 100%. I don't care what the competition is, but we're not talking about guys that don't throw. We're talking about Ackenhausen, Shores, Garrett Edwards, Griffin Herring, and Paul Skeens.
All under 1.
All under 1.
And then what are the other ones? What's Ty Floyd?
Ty Floyd's sitting at a 108.
Okay. What is
You got Blake Money with a 1.8.
Right.
You got Thatcher Hurd with a 204.
And that's all because of that one game.
I mean, it's goofy, the numbers that you're looking at. Like, you're like, wait, who have they been playing? Like, that's what you feel like. But I do think this year, of more than any year, usually when you see it around the country, because of what they were able to bring in, and obviously what they're doing. It's not just the talent. Like, the talent shows, but you got to go out there and do it. And they're going out there and doing it right now, and it's pretty impressive.
It's impressive.
It's impressive.
And look, if you go look at the offensive numbers, you already talked about how good offensively. Nobody has double-digit homers.
Nope.
Which is impressive, right? You have, I think Tommy White's got 5 or 6 now. Dylan Cruz got 4 or 5.
Jones is still leading.
Jones is at 6.
With Tommy with 5, I think.
And I know
Tommy missed what, 2 weeks?
No, well, yeah, a week, and then Dugas missed a weekish, and then Dugas has 5. He missed a couple games.
Yeah,
I think
you got 2 players. Tommy's
Cruz
got
has
6
5.
and Jared has 6.
Okay, and then Dugas got 5.
Cruz has 5.
Yep.
Joe Bear has 4.
What's going on with what happened?
What
is this a baseball issue? Like did
with
they?
Joe Bear?
No, I'm talking about just the amount of runs scored.
No, so I think that the bats have caught up. Not necessarily, they're not like they were when we were playing, but they're also we didn't play drop 5s.
No, I'm talking about like gorilla ball.
Yeah. But like they the bats were so bad when they first came out, and now they've figured out a way to like make them
a happy medium.
Yeah, right. And they've changed the baseballs.
Yeah.
So they've made the baseballs like a minor league ball. They've tightened the seams. They've made them harder. They've made them fly a little bit better. They used to have really high seams, and I think that's a big difference. And I think that's just the way baseball's going right now, right? Team guys are learning how to swing.
As I'm about to say, I'll give the players some much due credit too. The game's a little different in the sense of guys are learning how to hit the ball in the air correctly at a much younger age than we ever did.
It used to be like, don't drop your shoulder and lift it. No, that's not how they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's just bat path and
even
plane
they're starting to teach guys and make guys understand. Doesn't matter your size, like how to drive the baseball.
Yeah,
so,
right.
Just different.
Right.
It's different.
So I think that's part of it, right? And it's just,
because the scores are so.
Yeah, but look, I think it's going to start leveling out a little bit. You're still going to get some runs. You're still going to there's. Look, some of the stadiums are easier to hit homers than others.
And Jay spoke about this on the show the other day, but there's something real, like legit real. And it doesn't matter if you're facing the best pitcher in the country or the worst pitcher in the country. When you have a lineup that is as stacked as LSU's lineup is, and there is legit no breaks in the lineup, it becomes really hard to pitch to. Because if I get a guy to 2-0 thinking, oh, man, if I get Tommy White to 2-0 thinking, oh, man, I don't really want to give him anything else to hit. Well, you might want to, because a solo homer is probably better than a 2-run homer, and the guy behind him can leave just as well as he can. And then it keeps going on down the line to where next thing you know, you're like, oh shit, I'm back to the top of the lineup, and I didn't have a break yet. I didn't have a for sure out yet. That's where it becomes really, really, really tough. And when it becomes that, like everybody starts feasting off of good pitches to hit, because who am I going to pitch around? That's why, if you ever heard, like, you look at in the big leagues, if you look at a good 3-hole hitter who had a good year, I can probably show you a 4-hole guy who had very solid numbers behind him.
Right.
Because they kept having to pitch to him because of the guy behind him. They basically filled out a whole lineup of that right now.
Yep.
I was talking in the chat.
I'll say that was your question.
But you asked me the question.
You asked the question. I was like, we're answering it, and then you just went radio silent.
What did I ask?
I love
that. He don't even know what we said.
What is the point of the scoring? Once SEC play starts, the scoring's gonna level off.
That's what I was kind of thinking myself. But whenever you see people around the other conferences where it's
that's always gonna happen. That's always been the case. Like you used to look at was it Kennesaw State used to score all these runs, and their field's just a bandbox. It's just easy to hit homers there.
ECU,
ECU all these teams, but It's not that easy. It's just competition ramps up.
Now I remember what he said, and I think the greater point of what you were trying to prove is, and you're right, because you see Dylan Cruz taking all these walks, what we talked about with Jay Johnson, where he's having to spit on pitches that he normally wouldn't, right? But he knows that he's got Tommy White behind him, and then Tommy White, who's found his groove, you can't necessarily pitch to him. How many times has LSU had runners in scoring position with less than 2 outs this year? It feels like every time they come up to bat, there's somebody on first and second and third, less than 1, and it just. Where does it end?
Right.
The way that they have the lineup constructed now, there's no easy out.
No doubt. And speaking of lineup, right, a lot of people had a lot of issues. I said early. The season's still early, but the first couple of weeks of, we strike out too much. Is that going to be an issue? Is that going to be an issue? And I was like, well, there's 2 outlying games, blah, blah, blah. and we talked about stuff. Well, there's a lot to be said about words. You can say words; they can be empty words. Oh, I'm just saying this. He doesn't know what he's talking about. It doesn't matter. But my friend, co-host Jared,
we did a lot of work.
Did some work behind the scenes, and he pulled up over the last 9 games. So there's 9-game or
post Texas.
Yeah, post Texas. So it's 11-game winning streak. So you lost to Iowa with all that stuff. So after the Texas game, these last 9 games, right? Everybody was asking questions. Why are they striking out? What are the numbers?
Let me preface this so people understand this, right? If you a 2-to-1 walk or strikeout to walk ratio as a hitter is usually considered like good. Like, all right, cool, no problems.
Like if you strike out 100 times, walk 50,
there's no problems there. Basically, they're like, okay, no problems there. All right. If you have a 1-to-1 ratio, you're pretty much elite. I'm talking about one individual player too. Now I'm not talking about as a team. In those 9 games, LSU has 59 walks as a team and 57 strikeouts. As a team, that is incredible. And I saw it. I remember sitting in the stands midweek game. They played Southern. I went and watched the game. And it really doesn't matter the competition, but I can remember saying to myself in the 5th or 6th inning, I'm like, it's tough to get through the lineup. Like, there's not easy outs. The quick at-bats are hard hits. The deep at-bats are people you're like, man, he's not supposed to be doing this late. Like, why is he fouling off all these pitches? Mm-hmm. Why am I having to throw all these pitches? It was just literally up and down the lineup, and they were just not giving away at-bats. Mm-hmm. So, like, I saw it then. And so to see something like that over that stretch of games, that's not a fluke. I don't give a shit who you playing.
Right.
That's hard enough for one player to do it. For your entire team to put up that kind of performance is crazy.
Yep. Agreed.
And this is I base these stats off of the box scores.
Literal stats.
No, they're the box scores. So this is not me looking at the starters and seeing what the starters have done over that. This is literally pulling the stats from the box scores. So this is everybody. This is the kids that have got in late in the games. It doesn't matter. Everybody. That's impressive.
Everybody.
It's impressive.
Well, yeah, because you would expect some drop off from non-starters or people that get inserted to the game, but that has not been the case.
It just tells me that they're honed in on their approach, right? They understand what's going on, especially when you play a team that you feel like you're a lot better than, especially the guy on the mound. Sometimes you get out of your approach because you want to get a hit.
Especially, hey, these guys are getting out of the game early and they know they've been getting out of the game. 2 hits on the game? Ah, man, I'm not trying to. I mean, let me get big. No, they're not giving away at bats right now.
Which is impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive. All right, let's get to the Seggies. This is your time to shine. Your time to shine.
It's always my time to shine.
Mistake of the day brought to you by our friends down at Dozy Place, which we are supposed to be there yesterday. Yesterday. But our friend Jackie was coming back from his senior trip. Senior trip.
Wow.
Coming back from spring break.
Hate yourself.
Yeah, spring break. Wow.
I worked for senior trip.
I mean, look, I love my senior trip.
I didn't have a senior trip.
Ooh, see? So senior trip. That was coming back from a senior trip.
You got
coming back from spring break. So we want to do it as a team. So we're going to probably do that next week.
Perfect.
But this is mistake of the day.
Brought to you
by Dozy Place,
which we will be featuring shortly here, with a full-on ad, not just me talking about it.
Yeah, I like to have maybe mistake of the day.
We can work on that tomorrow. I'm telling you.
Yeah. All right.
The whole thing going on.
All right.
Mistake of the day, brought to you by Dozy Place.
Gotta lock them down.
And this feels like something that y'all can probably relate to more than I. But the Yankees, are they making any money or no? Y'all.
I think they're making a few dollars.
Business model's not the worst.
Not bad. They got their own Yes Network to where everything in baseball is based off revenue dollars and TV dollars. But
I think they advertise the whole league on it.
Yeah, they have every home game there.
I think they're evaluated at $6 billion.
Maybe one of the richest franchises in all of sports, if I'm not mistaken. Tough titties. They can't afford for the Wi-Fi on the plane for travel days for their pitchers, for their entire team.
It's not about not affording. It's just they don't
afford to
this.
This is a classic management versus player, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
Gotta earn that Wi-Fi.
I'll say this. When I play for Tampa...
You think some people got Wi-Fi and some people don't?
No. I will say this. When I play for Tampa, and Tampa is not known to be a very high-paying team, we didn't have to pay for Wi-Fi. Definitely didn't have to pay for Wi-Fi in Detroit. We had our own plane, which is awesome. But
Miggy.
Miggy didn't buy the plane. The owner bought the plane.
I know, but I feel like
Miggy was in the front.
He's flying the plane.
He was in his spot.
8 tequilas deep.
No.
He's retired now.
He's reformed.
Oh.
He's not retired. He's still playing this last year.
Yeah, he's playing this year.
I thought he had a swan song last season.
Albert.
No, he had all the records last year. This year is the swan song.
That's Albert.
He came out and said this was last year.
Albert out of here. You know he went on that great run.
I can't believe he's coming back. Good for him.
But yeah, so that's tough.
Okay,
that's tough. The Yankees coming out and not doing that.
To get to the whole Doge we see today, Garrett Cole dreamed of playing for the Yankees. He was a kid, and in so many ways, the experience has been exactly what children envision: crisp pinstripes, retired numbers, bleacher creatures. But one thing surprised when we got to New York after signing a 9-year, $324 million deal, which I assume is why they think they can afford their own Wi-Fi on the plane. Technically, though, Yankees are shifting the blame to Delta.
No, it is Delta, but you still pay that bill.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So, but it's I think it comes out to $40,000 a year for the season to pay for the free flights.
$9 a person.
$9 a person. Which, listen, it's not. They can afford it. You know, it's fine.
Subway costs more.
I think that's something that they probably should start mixing in. They're one of 2 teams in the MLB that does not pay for their Wi-Fi for their players on the flights. It's tough. It's tough tickets.
Championships only, baby. You gotta earn
That's
that
it.
Wi-Fi.
Man,
Win me something.
You gave me everything else. Can't give you everything.
You think Derek Jeter didn't get Wi-Fi on the plane?
Nope.
Well, I don't think they had Wi-Fi back then on the plane.
Well, he didn't have a phone.
I think he's got a phone. He may have had 2.
Maybe a few.
Yeah. Walter White.
I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah. That blows my mind.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy. Curtain calls. To the curtain calls. Brought to you by here, our friends down at Assured Partners. And me. And me. I was with them today, actually.
My first curtain call.
Ted Lasso returns, baby. Woo!
I can't wait.
I
actually can't wait for that.
I saw it last night.
What?
Wait.
Yeah.
How?
Got you, motherfucker.
No, you didn't.
Oh, I did.
How'd you see that?
Apple.
Oh, they released that at midnight?
No, like 9 o'clock. I saw.
Oh, I'm at Apple. I have
Oh, wait. First episode's out?
Oh, it was
today.
out
Today was supposed to be the first day.
It was out last night. I promise you.
Okay, I'll watch it tonight. I'll watch it tonight.
It's good.
It's good.
Yes.
Well, it's got no spoilers, but it's got a.
Why are you giving?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
told you
Jesus
it's good.
Christ.
Curtain
call brought to you by Assured Partners.
Assured Partners. Mine is to Scotty Scheffler. I don't know anything about the man because he is very anonymous. He keeps kind of to himself. He's a self-proclaimed weirdo, but absolutely nailed the Masters Club dinner is crushed. So this
now,
is
if you don't know what this is, the previous winner of the Masters is a very exclusive club, and if you won, you are a member of this dinner, right? So it's the champions dinner.
Always, right?
All past champions, yeah. Always
so
are invited.
Extra seat every year.
Yes, every year. And the previous winner is the person who creates the menu. So Scotty Scheffler won last year. He was the one who created the menu, and what a menu it is.
That's a fire menu.
Cheeseburger sliders on board, firecracker shrimp on board, tortilla soup, love that.
It.
Not even a soup guy, I love tortilla soup. I'm
not missing on any of those.
No, ribeye, great. Hey, you don't want steak and you want some fish? Black and redfish, great. Redfish, love redfish. He tops it off with a warm chocolate chip skillet cookie, milk and cookies ice cream on top. Boy, did he crush that.
I'm getting a little taste of all of that.
Wow.
There's not one thing that on that menu I don't want.
Nope. I'll eat the whole thing. Give me everything.
Everything.
Give me everything. I want the redfish and the steak.
Yeah, the steak. A little surf and turf.
Which one of them you want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
Crushed it.
Because I even put in like the show doc. I was like, "What would you put on your own menu?" And I was like, "I think this. Like, you really can't go better than that."
Maybe the only thing I can say is maybe instead of having, because you have the steak and you have the sliders. I love the sliders. But instead of the steak, maybe do like the fried chicken sliders as the app. So you have a little bit. You have chicken, steak, and fish.
Yeah, you get all the
but
proteins.
Listen, I'm not complaining because I would crush it all.
You would be a disaster.
I'm obviously very hungry right
now. Coming up.
I was waiting for you to like wipe drool. Like, maybe.
I got food waiting on me. I ordered already. I'm at home. I can't wait.
Oh, that's great.
He crushed it.
Yeah, that's the best menu I've seen in a long time.
Yeah. What you got?
Mine, I'm going to stay close to home. Lloyd, you should go ahead, cue it up and throw it up there. But mine will be to Jameis Winston. Realizing the situation, not dropping the ball or bottle.
Hey.
And restructuring, and he also put out a note And then I thought the no was actually
it gives a
very,
good reason
very
on why he came back.
And I thought it was really good for people. It's awesome when people use social media for something like this these days, and it's actually positive.
We don't have to read the whole thing, but basically, in summary, it says, the last 2 years, I've gone through 3 really tough injuries. I felt like I have fit in and belonged in the culture of the city and the culture of the team, and I like the way the team is structured and shapes up to be next year. I would not put myself in a position not to be on a championship team. I believe in myself, but I feel like it's the best place for me to be over the next year.
He basically said, which is also kudos to the organization of the Saints, he basically said, as unfortunate as the last 2 years have been for me, everything that I look for in a team when I signed here is exactly what this place is. Yep. I ain't leaving.
Shows a lot of maturity on his part.
And for as much shit as we talked about the Saints culture, kind of changing under Dennis Allen.
Well, we haven't talked. We just don't know. Maybe there's something that's changing.
I mean, it didn't seem to be the exact carryover that you wanted from Sean Payton to Dennis Allen. That's the reason the hire made sense, is keep the culture of the locker room. So maybe that's still intact. You see Michael Thomas sign back again.
That's what I'm saying. That's huge, right? And you have all these guys. You have everybody's restructuring their deals. Like, this is a big thing. You get a big free agent quarterback coming in there. Like, Saints are
not all bad.
Saints are trending upwards again. Thank God. Thank God. What you got?
So LSU baseball released a little skit this morning. Thought it was funny, especially shout out to our guy who was on the show, Jordan Thompson.
All these guys
have been on the show. Thompson was. I think Thompson was.
We gonna play
really impressive.
Absolutely.
Acting skills.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, somebody has to take the lead on these things, and it's kind of an awkward conversation amongst who wants to be the teacher and the guy. But meeting Jordan Thompson prior to the NCAA selection show, he was holding court like immediately, and so it's not shocking to see him kind of take control of this thing. Let me get the audio set up real quick. And so for him to be the lead host on this, and they did kind of like a This Is SportsCenter type commercial, which I thought was very cool.
Also, was like, whoever got Dylan to do this must be an impressive individual, because I don't think he.
Come on, guys. It's not math. This is baseball. All right. Shortstop 6. Okay. Second base 4. First base 3. I don't know why it's a 3, but it is. You get 2 outs. Pitcher's happy. Going in the dugout.
Bro, do you have any idea what he's talking about? Dude, I'm dropping this class.
Dude, I thought this was American history. Alright, class is dismissed. No, I'm not doing this again.
Pretty good.
Perfect, yeah.
Pretty good.
Wait, can we go over this one more time?
You know why? Because I've been in the other side, and I've had teachers do the exact same thing. Like, okay, it's over. I'm done.
Oh, so that's the benefit of being an athlete. They don't do that to normal folk.
I don't get that treatment.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying I'm not in the class by myself. I'm in the class with the whole class. You think we just have athlete classes?
What do you? No. Stop.
Oh.
I was in finance for 2 years.
Stop. You guys just missed on the good class. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that's it.
I did cause a ruckus because of the.
You chose thermodynamics. I don't know why you would ever do
fault.
that.
You caused a ruckus on what?
Because I was in sports admin. A lot of.
Oh, the athletes in sports admin.
And they tried to make me take another year because I couldn't get into certain classes. So I was like, actually, y'all taught me about clustering and it's illegal to do that. And I had to bring that to D. Jacobson.
Wow.
And she was like, you're in. I was like, yeah, I'm not trying to cause a fuss.
But you dislike her, but she let you in.
Yeah, she had to because I was about to raise hell.
Causing a fuss.
But she still let you in, though.
It wasn't her. Okay. It was my advisor.
All right, so my curtain call.
I try to give her flowers. I can't.
The Pittsburgh Pirates, we're sticking on the baseball thing. The Pittsburgh Pirates don't have a lot of positive pub because they stink. And they haven't been good. They have some really good players, actually. They have some really good young players, but they haven't been very good for a long time. And their manager was my old hitting coach in Tampa, Derek Shelton. We call him Shelty. Great dude. Love Shelty. Think he's an awesome guy. And I never get enough of this because, people just see the end result, and that is this guy getting to the big leagues, playing in the big leagues, and, either having success in the big leagues or not having success in the big leagues, but being there, right? And you judge him based off of what you see, but you don't see the come up. You don't see the struggles. You don't see the moment that he gets told, right? And you've seen this a lot of times in college where you see all these guys will walk on to becoming on scholarship, all these types of things. Well, when you get a kid, someone who gets called up or makes the opening day roster, right? Getting called up is one thing, but making the roster out of spring training is pretty impressive, and this is basically how it went.
Only making the roster, but
opening day roster. Yeah.
Opening day starter.
Opening day starter. I mean, opening day starter. Right.
Oh, I gotta turn the audio on. Hold on. I forgot Twitter mutes.
How did your side go? Good, really good. Yeah. Really good. Threw to Mulkey for the first time, so that was good. Good. Get him in there. Just went over 4 batters, like some stuff. How many did you throw? Probably 20 or something. 20? Okay. How many do you think you'll throw in 30? I got no idea. What's 30th? Opening day. Come on. Oh my God, dude.
That's fucking awesome, man.
Awesome. Very well deserved. Oh my God. Very well deserved. Seriously. I mean, all the work you put in. Yeah. I'm so proud. God, thanks. So proud. Sick. Oh my God. I appreciate you. No, I appreciate you. All the hard work.
So basically, like, I mean, this guy went into the offseason with his goal probably being, I want to be in the rotation. I want to be the opening day starter. I want to do all these types of things. But, like, you have to go out there. I'm sure there's a lot of other guys who are probably deserving of that too. And to be able to earn that position and to be able to get told 2 weeks before opening day that you are the opening day starter, that's awesome.
My only question would be, are you concerned that he doesn't know when opening day is?
No. It doesn't matter.
Because he's like, what's the 30th?
That
would make me more comfortable with him.
Yeah, like, hey,
when's my tee time? I'm ready
only,
to go
I'm
now.
only focused on when I need a pitch. Like, no, dude, no. I think that's awesome. That's my curtain call.
Great show.
Great show today. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate everybody for listening. I guess you're not listening live because it's not posted yet on pod because it's not a live pod.
I think there's a YouTube thing where we can do that.
Okay. Let's look into it.
Let's look into it.
We will be live
Add
again
it to the docket
in the studio from 1 to 3 p.m. on Friday.
Will you be here?
I will be here.
Cool.
I'll be here. And then I'll be going to the LSU women's basketball game.
I'll be that.
I'm the
pappy.
I'm the pappy.
I will be here and 1 to 3 previewing the women's basketball game, previewing the LSU's opening SEC weekend at Texas A&M.
We won't be there.
We will not be there, but we will be there in spirit, and we will preview it. And then we have home games after that, which is great. And we'll announce something next week probably about potentially having some fun before one of the home series here at LSU.
If you had to throw a dart at one.
We're working on it. Yeah, you can probably guess on what we're trying to do. So,
not that hard
if you
to get
like
tickets.
our show, yeah, you're right. If you like our show and you like watching our show, please click that like button, share it, tell somebody about it. We enjoy our growing audience. We enjoy living with y'all. We enjoy talking with y'all. We enjoy being part of the squad, right? Like, I mean, if you watch the show, you're part of the squad. Like I said, the clubbies. We're working on creating a better of a community, but I think we starting to. Like, you're starting to see a lot more interaction. So please like and subscribe. If you don't get to watch us very often, but you listen to us because you drive and you commute and you do all these types of things, we're anywhere you get your pods. And so please push that, like that, subscribe to that. We enjoy all of the numbers. We enjoy all of the people that listen to us, even though, sometimes we're stupid and we don't make a lot of sense, but we enjoy you.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it's part of it. We'll see you on Friday.
Booze Cruise locked and loaded.
Yeah, we're ready. Booze Cruise thing's going to take off, no doubt.
What's the over-under for this weekend, you think? 1 or 2? I would set it 1.5.
Can we do this on Friday?
Teaser.
Let me think about this on Friday.
Teaser.
Yeah.
I did have a Tommy White thing, but I think it's illegal.
Oh, nice.
What is that?
Really? White?
Snow day.
Oh, well, definitely legal.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't thinking that you were going to go that aggressive.
Anything for views.
Okay, well, we're not going to do that because you'd die. You would die.
I'm better at that than beer.
Okay. Well, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Please fill out your brackets. Go and click our link. Go to ESPN and click on the search thing, Mik'd Up Brackets.
Mik'd Up March Madness.
Mik'd Up March Madness. And join our March Madness bracket. You get signed stuff. We're going to try to make some more things more enticing for y'all, too. But we appreciate all the love. We appreciate all the support. We'll see you on Friday. Peace.
Peace.